team handles everything: design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
I don't know why I'm more offended that the media partners with the quasi-communists, those corrupt Canadian slobs up north. I knew when they partnered with Iran what they were. I know when they partner with the American traitor Democrats and the socialists what they are. But the Canadians? We'll take Darcy Rhoda and Ivan Boldarev, and you can get the hell out, all the rest of you. We'll discuss that and so much more after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott. In our QC Kinetics newsroom, there could soon be a new train taking travelers to O'Hare from downtown. This morning, a group of Chicago business and civic leaders announced what they're calling the O'Hare Flyer, an electric express train providing 15-minute rides from downtown to O'Hare's Terminal 2. The O'Hare Flyer is a private endeavor. The project is not seeking any government subsidies or funding. A man was killed in an armed robbery in Brighton Park this morning. Chicago police say a suspect or suspects entered that business with handguns and demanded money. A 36-year-old man was hit by gunfire several times and pronounced dead at the scene in the 3400 block of South California. 3 states holding primary elections today, including South Carolina. The National Park Service turns 110 years old today. To celebrate, the agency waiving entrance fees. And health officials are confirming a case of the measles in Kane County. Cubs and Diamondbacks tonight, White Sox and Rangers, the news service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges. Join today, 560theanswer.com/join. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages finishing higher as oil prices and bond yields retreated. The latest twists in U.S.-Canada trade tensions not having much effect on markets. This morning, Canada unveiled tariffs on about $20 billion of American goods. Falling oil prices are easing inflation fears, with West Texas Intermediate crude trading over $81. Bitcoin has been on a tear since the Treasury said it would buy back long-term bonds. The cryptocurrency jumped above $80,000 before falling over $79,000. And shares of NVIDIA rose 2%, snapping a week-long losing streak. The AI darling will be reporting earnings after the closing bell on Wednesday. The Dow winners: Goldman Sachs, Merck, and Sherwin-Williams. The Dow decliners: McDonald's, Salesforce, and Chevron. The Dow up 160 points. The Nasdaq higher by 171. S&P 500 up 24. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Hugh Hewitt sees the Democrats sprinting left.
Abdul El-Sayed, arguably the most radical major party candidate in the history of the United States. I mean, we've had Gus Hall, an American communist, and we've had Eugene Debs, a socialist, run before. But I think Abdul El-Sayed is the most radical major party candidate for the United States Senate ever. The sprint of the Democratic Party over the left edge.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Alex Marlowe at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-393-1881. That's 800-393-1881. 800-393-1881.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. Freedom stood up for reality and the crowd went nuts. Enes Kanter Freedom attended a WNBA game with a t-shirt that defined a woman as an adult human female. The shirt provoked a profane response from Chicago Sky players, leading the league to eject Freedom from the arena, in every possible sense. When was the last time anyone saw a player in the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL lose their minds and their focus over a t-shirt in the stands? This is the second time in a week for the WNBA in which a team either threatened to expel or outright expelled fans for wearing t-shirts that only express support for biology as the definition of women. This isn't a sports league, it's a struggle session with cardio. It is a cult of progressivism and microcosm where dissent has to be silenced and truth banished. It may be a clown show at the WNBA, but writ large, it really is a danger to freedom, not just Enes Kanter freedom. I'm Ed Morrissey.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
No delays going outbound on the Edens, the Kennedy, 45 minutes, Jane Byrne Interchange out to O'Hare, Eisenhower, 50 Post Office to 390, and the Stevenson out 50 out to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Southbound 55, a car fire on the right shoulder at 126. Outbound Ryan, a half hour slowing in the Express, 35th to Marquette. On DuSable Lakeshore Drive, that is heavy either way. Tri-State also seeing delays in both directions. Jane Addams is clear. Eastbound Reagan at Route 53, it's heavy from an earlier accident. Southbound 355 is jammed, and westbound 80 at Crash at Richards off to the right shoulder. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 65. On Wednesday, there will be a mix of clouds and sun with a chance of a thunderstorm developing late morning onwards. It will be humid with the possibility of gusty winds accompanying any downpour. The high will reach 84 degrees. Wednesday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Don't worry. We'll get into that fraud. That doctor of Yabba Dabba Doo, El Saidi, and his band of liars and thieves and frauds. And it doesn't matter. Michigan is run by Democrats. They stole the election in 2020, and everything they do from now on means nothing. I don't give a rip what the polls say. If he gets elected or not, doesn't matter. I like to expose the scum of the scum. And every once in a while, you get a crossroads in the most odd places. For instance, one of the Ford brothers, not the big fat crackhead who's dead, his brother, the other Ford, who is the premier of Ontario or Ottawa or Gatsangoul, some funny-speaking French little enclave of communism where only the politicians like Ford get to make money. And only the politicians like Ford get away with open and notorious corruption. Think of it like Chicago, just a little north.
You sound a little more subdued than you did this morning on the radio when you said Donald Trump could kiss your ass. Did the Prime Minister tell you to ask you to tone it down a bit?
No, he didn't. I'm not going to comment, but he wasn't against that. And I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass. So
just remember that. When all the crying starts because of that bust-out, bankrupt, quasi-commie country that is as corrupt as Ukraine and Chicago. And you know, it got me to thinking, well, he was asked earlier today on Fox, you don't really like Donald Trump. No, you liked the dailies. You liked the nine-finger Yakuza. Chicago's where you had your front phony business. Deco Labels, right there in Shirakistan. Deco Labels. It got all the little sticker contracts for all the municipalities. And when COVID hit, he got all the warning labels. That's inside baseball. It's not as good as Alex Rivera, who is the chief DEI for Navy Pier, with an office that doesn't exist, nor a job that doesn't exist, for $319,000. This is a whole kind of business, and they pretend that they're capitalists. But in Canada, in Chicago, in New York, in New Jersey, and in California, this is the only version of capitalism they get. Inside corrupt, overpaid municipal fraud jobs.
You're listening to The City with Mayor Rob Ford and Councilor Doug Ford on News Talk 1010.
Now, one of them is dead. I think it's the mayor. He cracked himself to death. He was smoking crack with hookers. He was like Hunter Biden, only with an extra 150 pounds. So he was built like Pritzker, smoked crack like Hunter Biden and Whitney.
Good afternoon, everyone. Doug's back in the saddle from Florida.
Here comes trouble.
Watch out. He's back in the city now. So tell everyone, how was your little holiday down in Florida and Chicago?
I'll tell you, it was great. Man, when I landed in Chicago, I almost kissed the ground and saw the folks there. They're doing a great job. Everyone's doing a great job.
Just remind people why you're in Chicago.
Well, we have a business in Chicago, Deco Labels, and we have sales offices across the country. We've opened another plant and sales office, I should say, in California in the wine industry. And we have offices in Wisconsin and New Jersey and Ohio. Illinois is one of the main manufacturing facilities, and New Jersey is as well.
Manufacture political corruption. Made tens of millions of dollars. Sold it to Ares partners and investors, debt conglomerate. They got big headaches, too. Not as much as the people of Canada or the Canadian economy, which is a fraud as it exists today. And what I loved about it is the inside open trade with the communist Chinese was set up by Pierre Trudeau. And to this day, they are only a pass-through. So when you buy products that you think are Canadian, think again. They're Chinese communist products. You know what they do in Canada? They complain. They moan, and they go broke.
Last week, Canada's Interior Minister, Melanie Joly, was in London at Chatham House selling Canada to the assembled audience as a, quote, stable, grown-up, reliable partner, as opposed to the United States, of course. But here is how that grown-up partner operates. 4 days ago, the White House put out a report called the Great Transshipment Scam. And the president's trade advisor, Peter Navarro, said the Chinese repackage their goods into products that are produced in countries with lower tariffs in order to, quote, smuggle them in. The broadcast was showing...
No wonder all the products suck. Taste like wood chips.
...showing just what countries are involved. And Canada is near the top of the list. But that's not the only list that Canada is on. When the administration escalated its tariff strategy back in...
Hey, Squirrel, this is like when Mike Madigan's kid went to go work for Mesro. What do you do? I'm in finance. Oh, are you? You're in finance, stupid? Sure you are. Just another front.
July, targeted countries which failed to enforce measures banning goods produced by forced or slave labor. Canada is on the short list of 6 countries which failed to enforce their own laws. And there are the dirty money flows, which are the hallmark of the empire's deregulated financial system. They have a name for the Canadian side of it. It's called snow washing. Transparency International Canada put the problem bluntly. Quote, there are more rigorous checks to obtain a library card than there are to set up a shell company. And they said this leaves Canada, in their words, with, quote, some of the weakest corporate transparency laws in the world. And
so it would be like Delaware with the same corrupt Biden syndicate protecting the corruption. So Canada's a combination of Delaware, Chicago, and Beijing.
Money that gets washed is not petty cash. British Columbia's Cullen Commission, a full public inquiry whose final report was released in June 2022, documented what investigators called the Vancouver model, cartel and triad money from the Sinaloa and CGNG cartels and Chinese triads laundered through casinos, luxury cars, and real estate. In BC real estate alone, the estimates ran from $800 million to over $5 billion a year. Now, if that reminds you of how...
Whoa, but I heard all day. They're our best friends. You're my best friend. And El Saidi's an American. You're my best friend. El Saidi's just like every other Democrat in Medicare for all the crackheads and the rest of it. I'm getting sick and tired of this double talk. But we don't have a media. We have a Department of Agitation and Propaganda. Every once in a while, though, some information comes out. And you know when it comes out? When they put these stupid, drunk pigs from Canada in front of a microphone. It was almost as good as El Saidi Yabba Dabba Doo on Jesse last night.
Canada is set to announce retaliatory tariffs at the top of the hour. And now I'm pleased to welcome someone to the show who knows a lot about this issue. Ontario Premier Doug Ford. Premier Ford, welcome to Varney and Company.
Well, thanks so much for having me on. It's great to see you again, Lydia. I know we met at the Gordie Howe Bridge not too long ago.
We sure did. I want to get straight to this.
Screw Gordy, too. You know, Squirrel, I looked all over my condo. I looked for everything made in Canada. Couldn't find nothing. I was fully prepared to chuck it right off of the lanai. You got anything in your house made from Canada? Yeah, me either. But they're our essential trading partner. Are you?
Because at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock, we are expecting a big announcement from Canadian officials who will be discussing retaliatory tariffs against the United States. Premier Ford, you have been very clear with respect to what you want to happen. You've called for dollar for dollar, tariff for tariff response. Tell us, what can we expect to hear at 11 o'clock, and will it meet your demands?
It will. We're working closely with the Prime Minister and the other premiers. I believe in dollar for dollar, tariff for tariff. We are under unprovoked attack by President Trump. I always say, Canadians, myself, we love the American people. We love the U.S.
Is it unprovoked? You know, now when you talk to these Canadian morons who don't want to pay for anything, listen, do you get a free knee replacement? Then just spew the bull dung. But it turns out, Squirrel, there's all kinds of tariffs on us. There's all kinds of protection, not protecting the Canadian people. They're protecting the Canadian people from success. But they're keeping out our products. And this fat slob came to our country and had his inside baseball front company called Deco Labels that made tens of millions of dollars for making fracking stickers for municipalities. And then he sold it to a mobbed up company. Boy, you guys are hard to figure out.
Premier, I want to ask you more about what you've called for, though, in response to our tariffs, which is, you know, recently you've discussed cutting off America from critical minerals, energy, surcharges on energy to try to hurt America. But, Premier, wouldn't that hurt the people of Canada more? You know, when you're talking about relative pain, what about your energy producers? Wouldn't that make them suffer by removing us as a reliable customer?
Well, Lydia, it works both sides of the border. It's going to hurt the American people when you tariff goods. I always say a tariff on Canada is a tax on the American people, and it's proven that. I would rather make a great deal for both countries that will allow both countries to thrive and prosper. President Trump ran on creating more.
Wait a minute now. First of all, what he said is not true, necessarily. What else he says is that he hides the fact of what have you already in place, fat boy? What do you already have in place? It's like talking to that Islamo-Nazi from Michigan. You can't beat the truth out of these scumbags.
Jobs, actually, job numbers fell in the U.S. as Ontario saw 52,000 jobs last month. We have a strong and resilient economy. Canada buys more goods and products and services off the U.S. than any other country in the world. Why would you want to attack your number one customer? And yes, the U.S. is our number one customer.
And we are buying,
and
we are also, Premier, to your point, sorry to step on you there, but we are also buying most of Canada's goods from you, from your nation, which leads to the deficit that is a concern to President Trump. And he's concerned about how our American farmers are being treated, Premier. Vice President J.D. Vance just pointed out yesterday that, in his view, Chinese farmers are treated better by Canada than how Canada treats the American farmer. Would you agree with that?
That is totally untruthful. I'll give you the facts. The facts are we buy more agricultural products than anyone in the world.
No. Focus, fat slob. What is the tariff on American dairy, on American meat, on American agricultural into Canada? And what is the tariff from China into Canada? That's how it works. That's what we're talking about. You big fat ass, his belly button needs a hubcap. He can't stay focused, squirrel. He's like that big Ruprecht in class, always slowing down the other kids. What's the tariff on America versus the Chinese communists?
With Mexico, actually, we keep your farms open by shipping the potash. There's nowhere else you can get the potash outside of Russia. So 90% of our potash for the agricultural sector comes from Saskatchewan. And we want to send more goods, more opportunities to the American people.
Do Chinese farmers also face tariffs of upwards of 200% or more like American farmers are treated?
I don't know where you're getting the 200% tariffs, but that's not accurate. We buy more products, more agricultural products.
No, because that's in your law. He doesn't know, squirrel. Just like he doesn't know about what he was overcharging for stickers at Deco Labs, Deco Labels, Deco Capital. Oh, yeah, he had three Decos, all right there out of Shirakistan. How many people talk about that? And yet he's going to pretend to be ignorant to the fact they come here, they financially rape us. They pretend to be our friend. Well, they prevent our products from entering. So I've got the answer for it all. Embargo. We don't need nothing. We don't want nothing. Seal the border. 312-642-5600.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
We opened our store in July 31st of 93. And a year later in August of 94, we sold a lot of furniture that month. I'm like, wow, we make money at that level.
Ben and Arvid Huth, brothers and owners of Penny Mustard Furnishings.
Of course, we didn't have any employees yet, and so it was easy for us to make money at that level. And that is where it clicked to me that this is going to work. We can afford to hire an employee, and it's going to work. We can take it to the next level, which at that point was hiring one guy.
You said it was easy to make things work when it was just us two. Only from a profit and loss standpoint.
Yes.
But from a work standpoint, it was 7 days a week. We were doing deliveries on Sunday mornings sometimes. We were...
we didn't have any expenses.
Yeah. But we didn't have a life either.
No.
We had no life other than work.
See more at pennymustard.com.
But we were okay with that. That's a decision we made. That's the path we went down. We were okay with that.
Since 2007, Folds of Honor has awarded nearly 73,000 educational scholarships, over $340 million to the children and spouses of America's fallen and disabled military heroes and first responders. This year alone, 7,700 qualified applicants didn't receive funding, not because they didn't deserve it, because resources ran out. You can change that. On Saturday, September 12th, you're invited to an exclusive VIP concert experience at a private estate in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, featuring Gary LaVox of Rascal Flatts and the Swan Brothers, benefiting Folds of Honor. This is an intimate evening with incredible live music and an even more incredible cause. Tickets are limited, and if you own a business, this is your chance to put your brand behind something that truly matters. Honor their sacrifice, educate their legacy, make lifetime memories. For tickets or business sponsorship opportunities, visit foldsconcert.com. That's foldsconcert.com. Saturday, September 12th. Don't miss it. foldsconcert.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Do you remember, Squirrel, with the dimwit in diapers and changing our auto manufacturing company to all the EVs? You remember all that, Squirrel? Canada has a tariff on our EVs. They not only have tariffs, they have fees. Drives up the cost of our EVs. our Cadillacs, our GMCs, whatever you want to call it, our Fords, into Canada increases the price for 30%. Do you know where they do not have tariffs?
Here are 4 Chinese EVs coming to Canada thanks to the new deal with China, and the last one is pure insanity. First up, the BYD Seal, a sleek EV with insane range and performance. With tariffs slashed, it could finally reach Canadian roads at prices people can actually afford. Next, the Xiaomi SU7, a high-tech electric sedan with rapid charging and luxury features. The new quota could make this one of the first Chinese EVs arriving soon. Third, the Zeekr X, a dual-motor SUV packing serious horsepower and tech, turning the idea of a Chinese EV into something fun and fast. Canada's deal makes cars like this realistic for the first time. And finally, the Neo ET9, a futuristic flagship EV with crazy power and cutting-edge tech. If this lands here, it would completely change the EV game in Canada. Pure insanity.
No tariffs. They sell for a fraction of the cost. They tariff all of our domestic EVs and Tesla. They're our friends. They're our bestest friends.
What we have with the agreement with the U.S. Is as follows. And let me start with what it isn't. It's not splitting the tolls of the bridge. It is an agreement for 15 years to split net revenues. Splitting of tolls, any sharing of the toll revenue won't happen until all of the debt is repaid. We will split net revenues over the course of the first 15 years. And those net revenues are after operational costs, so it's manning.
That they get to man. They get to man. Then they split the net, not the gross. By the time they whittle that down with their ghost jobs like Michigan, Chicago, or New York. But they're our bestest friends.
The City of London and its offshore Caribbean islands house drug cartel and terrorist money, including the IRGC. It should. That is the empire's business model. So that's just part of the rap sheet on Canada. Stable, reliable, grown-up partner, in Minister Jolie's words. So the USMCA fight, the trade negotiations that everyone is watching, that's one flank. Canada doesn't cheat on trade because of sloppy enforcement. It uses trade to erode American economic sovereignty by design. That isn't a trading partner. That's an outlaw with a flag stapled to it.
And they wash the drug money. As our kids and our citizens are cast into a zombie Democrat constituency for life. Scum. Embargo, Sharon. What do you think?
Hi, I am thrilled that you are airing Ms. Susan Kokenda of Policing in Action. She is positively stellar. She's one of the few people I donate money to ensure that her great work goes on. And Mr. Carney hates, and I mean hates, POTUS Trump, because Trump has pulled the rug out from under the City of London, and you should hear how pissed off Europeans are. I had the very strong displeasure of dealing with a what I call pointy-head Brit who has got his head so far up his posterior, he demonstrated no, and I mean no, compassion and care about his own countrywomen in the UK being raped and violently victimized
of course not.
by the Islamists his government so carelessly let in and continues to do nothing about. And he boasts about having 2 houses on the German-French border. Well, him and the rest of his cohorts can burn in hell. And trust me, when the Islamic fury gets going over there, they will. Have a nice day, Shaun.
Thank you, Sharon. Very smart, very smart. George in Naperville.
Shaun, what's going on? I thought the Canadians were good people. I thought they were all like Dudley Do-Right.
I told you. Ivan Boldarev, Darcy Rhoda, and their family can stay. Everybody else get the hell out of here. What do you think of that? Including Gordie Howe and his bridge and the rest of it. You know, call me silly squirrel, but I don't want to hear what you have to say, especially if you're a politician selling socialism or communism. I don't care what you say. I know what you do through your actions, whether you're this low-rent, low-life slob of a human being, Ford, and his former cokehead brother, crackhead brother, or El Saidi Yabba-Dabba-Doo out of Michiganer. And when it comes to votes in Michigan, don't think for 1 second it matters. They've been stealing elections almost as long as Chicago. But pay attention to what they have to say.
So we're all good. You also said this. You want to replace the right to bear arms with the right to health care. You don't want to replace the Second Amendment, do you?
Well, look, man, I think more people are more worried about whether or not they can see a doctor than whether or not they can have a gun. I'm just going to put that out there.
I mean, you're dodging the question. Do you want to replace the Second Amendment?
I'm just saying. that more people are more concerned about seeing a doctor. If we had a right to health care in this country, they probably wouldn't. And I think that'd be a pretty good thing.
A right to health care? Boy, that fries me. See, the way it's always worked, your bust out illegal alien, crack smoking, PCP using ass shows up in an emergency room. They treat you. Right now in the city of Shirakistan, how many got shot over the weekend? 17? Nobody had a Blue Cross Blue Shield card. The gangster disciples, the El Rukans, they don't really have much of a plan. However, you still get it. A right to health care, a right to health care. It's not about a right to health care. It's a right to not get a bill. And when you are talking about the people who can't pay and won't pay and don't pay, who are they? Are they scumbag constituents like this?
I smoked PCP one day, and my feet kept talking to me. I took out a 357 Magnum. Boom! Shot myself dead in the feet. Talk now. Talk now.
Right.
Talk now. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't feel it.
They didn't even feel it. All I had was the ring of the phone.
Yeah, 357.
So that brilliant Socrates from the ghetto shot his feet off with a 357 Magnum. Does he get the free El Saidi Yabba Dabba Do health care? Or is it only the pregnant Muslim who doesn't want to pay for her 17th child? 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted. On AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Welcome back to Ask Hassles.
Are your employee-free Hassles showroom some kind of big viral prank?
We simply let you try our selection of Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, and more without commission-crazy salespeople breathing down your neck.
Sure you do.
And through Monday, get a free adjustable base with the purchase of a select Sealy Posturepedic or Beauty Rest mattress, plus free next-day delivery.
So shopping at Hassles won't make me TikTok famous?
Absolutely not.
Darn.
Find an employee-free showroom near you at hassles.com.
Don't miss Destination Retirement with Robert Kuhn every Sunday from 11 to 12. Robert has a different way of looking at retirement from most financial advisors and is happy to share his ideas with you every week. So don't miss what he has to say. Destination Retirement with Robert Kuhn, Sunday mornings from 11 to 12 on AM 560 The Answer.
It's interesting how you just get that little pop-up on your credit card notification that you paid for car insurance, or you paid for your home insurance, or you paid for an investment property insurance, or you paid for your kids' insurance. And you just keep paying. When's the last time you had somebody look at it, make sure you're insured properly at the best price? We have that solution for you. And it's one of our sponsors. The family started business right there in Illinois. Over 25 years. Tommy built the business. Now his son, TJ, runs the business. Class A Insurance, run by Tommy and TJ Iaquinta. You can call and get a quote in seconds. If you call 708-328-5150, tell them what kind of car you have, what kind of home you have, what you're paying, and how much insurance you want and how much insurance you have. He can look it up and give you a quote and save you money instantaneously. Like he did right there for our representative that represents this account. He saved him $100 a month because he went to 560insurance.com. He didn't even call Tommy and TJ. He said, let me just check it out. Checked it out, saved himself $1,200 a year. You can do the same thing. Go to 560insurance.com or call 708-328-5150. Remember, they're licensed in Illinois, in Indiana, and Wisconsin. They have a multitude of insurance companies to pick from. Whether it's your car, your home, your investment property, your boat, your motorcycle, no matter what it is, if you insure it, Class A Insurance can help you make certain you have the best insurance at the best price. When we get back, 312-642-5600. I'll take your calls and comments after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Partly sunny for today and a high near 81. A man was killed in an armed robbery in Brighton Park this morning. Chicago police say a suspect or suspects entered that business with handguns and demanded cash. While running from the scene, a suspect fired shots at a 36-year-old man, striking him several times. The incident occurred around 3 a.m. in the 3400 block of South California, where the man was pronounced dead at the scene. 3 states holding primary elections today, including South Carolina. There's a special House election in Georgia and a Senate and governor runoff in Oklahoma. And a high-profile Chicago priest is being reinstated after facing sex abuse allegations. Father Michael Flager has been reinstated at St. Sabina. An investigation by the Archdiocese concluded he was not guilty of the allegation. The news, a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands. Go to 560theanswer.com/store. Your next news update is at 5. Continuous news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And up next, check of your afternoon commute. In the AM 560 Traffic Center, here is Jill Urchak.
The Kennedy, 45 minutes. Jane Byrne Interchange out to O'Hare. Eisenhower, 1 hour to 390, while Stevenson is also an hour to get to the Veterans Memorial Tollway from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. 40 minutes outbound Ryan. In the express lanes, you'll be tied up a bit 35th to Marquette. I-57 and the Skyway both clear, but the outbound side of the Ford sluggish 115th down to 159th with roadwork. Heavy conditions along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. Tri-State also slowing in both directions, and the Jane Addams looks good. The Reagan busy either way. Westbound, there's an accident on the off-ramp to southbound 355. Southbound 355 itself is busy. Westbound 80, that is heavy right at Richards with an accident off to the left shoulder, and westbound 94 at State Road 49. Police activity on the right shoulder as well. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low temperature of 65. On Wednesday, there will be a mix of clouds and sun with a chance of a thunderstorm developing in some areas by late morning. It'll be humid with the possibility of gusty winds accompanying any downpours. The high temperature will reach 84 degrees. Wednesday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
The new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power comparison between AP300PC and AP300S.
Hey, did you ever track down that missing warehouse key?
I forgot all about it.
You forgot? You said that guy was furious when you had to let him go.
That doesn't matter anymore. Goldilocks set us up with new managed access control. We're keyless now. Everyone has a card or fob. Even their phone works.
Huh. You don't have to worry about people copying keys either.
Yeah, never again. Goldilocks allows me to handle everything from my phone or laptop. I can see who came into the building, when they left, restrict their access at night. I can grant temporary access to visitors, too. It takes 30 seconds to add or remove someone.
That sounds a lot safer and simpler.
Stop guessing who has access to your building. Set up access controls today by calling Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. Again, that's 708-889-5600 or visit GoldilocksInc.com. Goldilocks, security under your control.
In a recent survey of 123,000 wireless customers, Pure Talk was the only wireless company to receive 5 stars in every category: coverage, support, value, and data. What else do you need to know? Switch to Pure Talk today and get any plan, including their top shelf unlimited data plan for just $15 a month for your first 3 months. No contract, no commitment. Dial pound 250, say micro, and let Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team help you make the switch.
My name is Emma. I am 13 years old. 6 years ago, I was injured in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Last January, I got to meet my service dog, Marcia. Marcia helps me open doors. She picks up things that I can't reach. She makes me feel like together we can do anything. We are just one of the thousands of teams Canine Companions has paired together over the past 50 years. Visit canine.org to see the many ways you can change lives.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Sports memorabilia, movie posters, rock and roll, get top dollar for your collection. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Here you come again.
Very, very sad, huh?
Just when I'm about
You want to talk about poverty? Take a look at the Dolly Parton story. Long before people sold their character for welfare. And look at what she did, Squirrel, aside from being talented. Her philanthropy alone accomplished more than any political program, let alone what she did as a businesswoman who will get not a lot of accolades from the frauds in our society or the Department of Agitation and Propaganda known as media, which is how they're putting lipstick on the idea that just 2 days ago, Minnesota voted to keep the dead people on the voter rolls. And you're supposed to feel that the Supreme Court trying to rein in the ability for these Democrat fiefdoms to cheat is somehow a violation of what?
A high-stakes legal battle over your mail-in ballot just landed right on your doorstep. The U.S. Supreme Court has cleared the way for President Trump's executive order restricting mail-in voting. Fox News' Dave Kinchin is live outside the Wayne County Clerk's office in downtown Detroit with a reaction from both sides tonight. Dave.
Yeah, Rip, this is a real big move here, and it's set to cause some chaos just weeks before these midterms take place. Take a look right now. Here's what happened. We'll break it all down for you. It's a massive yet unsigned decision by the Supreme Court that is the conservative majority bypassed the core question of legality in this whole matter. Instead, the justices ruled that 23 democratically run states, plus the District of Columbia, simply did not have the legal standing to sue right now. Let's take a look at video.
But it's election season, and they're so good at stealing votes. In fact, they're going to make certain they can steal them for as long as there are elections run by Democrats.
11. I recognize a member from Olmsted, Representative Quam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. This is just to require the full removal of deceased people from the voters' rolls. And before you ask, well, nobody deceased is voting, the federal system at SSA has checked registrations and has flagged deceased people registering in the state of Minnesota. It's not a huge thing, but let's take care of it by cleaning.
Squirrel, how does a deceased person, I don't watch those zombie shows, that Walking Dead, I don't watch any of that. How does a deceased person register to vote outside of Cook County? It's everywhere the Democrats are, which is why when you pretend that the Islamo-Nazi and Medicare for all is something people want, poppycock. It's just Democrats doing what Democrats do. Michigana!
But the whole environment was so hostile and condescending. And a lot of people have talked about the ballots that were not in the poll book or the system. And I was at a table which had a full stack of this file which said not in EPB/S, which is poll book or system. They were scanning and manually entering them, and the signatures on those sleeves were exactly alike, like a bar graph. And then they were sequential ballot numbers. They started from 2232, and sequence was something that threw me off. I'm like, how does that happen? And most of those people were from the Goddard Street, and they were being entered manually. So those were the observations that I had. I had all the details the last night.
So the stack of ballots, Squirrel, that came in from the mail, they were in sequential order. How's that happen? At least in Michigan, they had the fortitude to change the little numbers at the bottom. In Wisconsin, they didn't even bother. Same ballot numbers, just Xerox them.
Government employee has been fired from her government job for helping to rig the 2020 presidential election in Joe Biden's favor.
They had the piece in the evidence of this woman putting the same ballot through over and over and over and over. until they got to 81 million. It's a lot of times.
Yep. Saved me a minute and a half.
On tape. Right on tape. Ignored for the world. And people pretended for 4 years. Legitimate.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Here's what the official report is saying. She printed 64,000 ballots in the back conference room of City Hall, room 501, for the November 3rd, 2020 election. She had city employees and others at the CTCL fill out ballots on the 4th, 6th, and other floors of City Hall. Then kicked out observers around 10 to 10:30 p.m. on November 3rd. Then brought in large amounts of ballots at 1:15 a.m. on November 4th. All illegal, unconstitutional. Number one way, however, the liberals stole the presidential election.
And that was just 2020. Now they say, well, come on. We're going to send it through the mail. You mean the post office?
Of money, nearly $1.5 million, and prosecutors say that it all started with a postal worker stealing it from the mail that they're delivering to houses, then sold to one of the organizers running this operation. So let me break it down for you. Now, this prosecutors say that Tristan Vaughn recruited 3 postal carriers to steal checks from their routes: Catherine Kilpatrick, Dracker Alexander, and Malcolm Jobert. They say Alyssa Bryan then worked with Vaughn to buy and resell those stolen checks. And just look at this money right here. Prosecutors tie these 3 checks to 3 postal workers. The biggest one, more than $1.5 million, is tied to Jobert. The indictment.
They sold $23 million. Walking around in a costume, throwing the rest of the mail in a sewer. They'll be delivering ballots. And if you get suspicious in Democrat fiefdoms, there's laws against you getting suspicious.
It was in effect immediately upon my signature, number one. So in many ways, it addresses some of the anxieties around next Tuesday's election.
The bill follows a months-long dispute involving Bianco, who seized more than 650,000 ballots during a 2025 special election while investigating alleged vote count discrepancies in Riverside County.
How corrupt are we going to allow a governor and a legislature to be that they are now passing laws to stop people from finding fraud, to stop people from investigating election fraud? This is the most crazy thing I have ever seen.
Bianco
could not happen without the Department of Agitation and Propaganda. The idea that we allow government officials to outlaw investigations is the real issue at hand.
I'm Christine Frizzou. Tonight, a controversial law in California is gaining attention from coast to coast. The Justice Department asked to intervene and block it from taking effect. The law, which opponents have dubbed the Stop Nick Shirley Act, makes it illegal to post the addresses of immigration services providers.
Children, we saw one child.
Conservative influencer Nick Shirley's quest to expose fraud included him knocking on taxpayer-funded daycare centers and finding them, in many cases, empty.
We can't let you guys do so.
His efforts have resulted in many taxpayer-funded businesses being shut down and supercharged a nationwide effort to crack down on fraud, now reaching $230 billion, according to the White House. But Shirley says exposing fraud in other states, especially California, has just been made far more difficult by a bill, AB 2624. Just signed into law by California Governor Gavin Newsom. The bill was created by Assemblywoman Mia Bonta, wife of California's Attorney General Rob Bonta.
The AG, who is in charge of investigating and prosecuting criminals, had his wife create a law that forbids investigation into people breaking the law. That's the Soviet Union Brezhnev dreamt of. 312-642-5600.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
MyPillow is celebrating our country's 250th anniversary with savings up to 50% off their made-in-the-USA products. For example, get the queen-size premium MyPillow for $18.98 and the king size for just $1 more. Get Get body pillows with a free pillowcase for only $39.98. Get the MyPillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99 and $80 off the MyCross. All made right here in the USA. But there is so much more. In fact, they have over 200 products. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code Chicago or call 800-489-0201 to check out all of the great products they are offering. Get everything from MyPillow blankets, sleepwear, kitchen towels, mattresses, duvets, pet beds, comforters, couch pillows, bathrobes, and so much more. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code Chicago to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products.
You know I don't push products I don't believe in, so listen up because this one I love and recommend to friends and listeners. It's Virago Liquid Immune Support. Now I spoke with Dr. Hubert, the creator of Virago, and let me tell you, this man knows immune health like nobody's business. He explained to me the stronger your immune system, the stronger your body fights back against viruses, disease, inflammation, all of it. That's why he created Virago. It's a liquid immune boosting supplement packed with 23 powerful nutraceuticals working together in synergy. It's antiviral, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and even protects your heart, kidneys, and liver. And because it's liquid, your body absorbs it quickly. I mix Virago in my smoothies. I feel the difference, and you will too. So order your bottle of Virago today at myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. myvirago.com, coupon code IMMUNE.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. But don't be stressed or worried any longer. We're Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients and preparing them for the best possible resolution. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, give Optima a call today.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
AM 560. The answer.
So watching this fraud. By the way, where's the doctor from, Squirrel? Did you ever get the paperwork on this El Saidi Abedabado? Keep saying doctor, doctor. Doctor of your ass. All these third world hellholes, they come with fake degrees. And all of a sudden we got to call him a doctor to get on a nice scam. And he's running on the oddest of things, the oddest of things. So at a certain point, you have to realize it's to cover the scandal.
We have ICE now, and we have far more undocumented people. So ICE is clearly not working. It's just shooting like American citizens in the face and the back of the head. So
well,
if you're okay
illegals
with
are
that,
shooting people in the face too.
To disagree.
Abdul,
they're shooting Americans in the face and the back of the head. You mean like Chicago? How many stories, Squirrel? During the break. Guy pumping gas, some degenerate, illiterate moron, gang-banging drug dealer shoots him in the head. You mean like that? But ICE is the problem. The Democrat areas are the problem. However, that's a cover story, too. You know what it's a cover story for, Squirrel? Money, 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 money. Money, money, money to create policies to be stolen. That's how you add the $31 trillion since Barack Obama's trying to cover up the story of Blago's wife selling him that Hyde Park ghetto. And here's some of the money attached to this El Saidi in Michigan.
Here we are, out in the deep, thick country of Michigan, looking for one Elizabeth Waffle, 88 years old, donated nearly $150,000 in the last 5 years to Democratic causes. This is one of El Sayed's micro donors. Doesn't look like the Taj Mahal by any means. Come
Her
around.
house is burned down.
Where's the
Squirrel's living
house?
in a trailer.
Okay, if I'm not back in 5 minutes, call somebody. Ding, 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 ding. Hello? Here's a walker.
There's a walker.
Hi, madam.
Okay.
Pleasure. My name's Charlie. Are you Elizabeth Waffle?
Yeah.
It says here that you've donated $150,000 in the last 5 years to various campaigns, and that you've made nearly 15,000 donations.
I doubt it.
You want to see it?
15,000, yeah.
15,000 separate donations on the computer.
She's got underwear on that Jimmy Carter sold her in 1978. She doesn't have 5 fracking cents. Act blue, using her as a pass-through, like so many other simpletons have no idea. And it goes into El Saidi and every other Democrat scoundrel. So when you hear the old gods of thief, of this plan of fraud and foundations and policies to be stolen, you know there's a rumble of brewing.
The Democratic Party right now is, I think, going through a kind of experiment. Like, who can actually respond, particularly to young people's very real concerns about where they are at this point in their lives and what kind of future do they have for themselves. And I think that's healthy.
Why don't you tell the kids how you and your husband, who was stooping interns and everybody else that said hello to him, he thought was heterosexual, knowing you weren't, how you guys have amassed hundreds of millions of dollars, and tell them how you got help from transgender, the first transgender squirrel, long before it was in vogue, James Carville, who clearly has transitioned into the grandmother from the Beverly Hillbillies.
One thing that I know and you know, these are a pack of crooks, and they're a pack of people that don't give a about the United States of America, and we don't want to with them. I've been reading press reports about a meeting between a friend of mine, a guy I like, going to be Speaker of the House come next January, Hakeem Jeffers and Jared Kushner. Let me try to explain something, and Hakeem, you're a smart guy. You know your caucus, but let me explain something here very, very clear.
Hakeem, you're a smart guy. Hakeem's from a degenerate ghetto you don't want your car to break down in if you have to go through it. Hakeem and every one of these Democrats are from the areas that deliver not just the ghetto, but ghettonomics. And yet, we're still pretending this is a political party versus what it really is. It is a fraud. It is occupied by frauds, traitors, and thieves, just like Hillary Clinton, just like James Carville, just like El Saidi Yabba Dabba Doo. He doesn't give a rip about any of these topics. It's about the money that he can launder through fake campaigns and fake policies.
Did you make 15,000 donations in 5 years? $150,000?
150? Hell no. I don't have that kind of money.
Do you have internet?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
Do you have a computer?
No.
No? So how could you make all these donations?
Now let's do Chicago and Cook County next. Let's go through all the people living on welfare who mysteriously donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to Democrat thieves, all short in the trousers. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Business owners, you gotta love summer in Chicago, but you hate the paint, so do what Al did. He called Rhino Shield.
The building itself is made out of concrete block. We've had it painted once before, and I heard the ads for Rhino Shield, and that piqued my interest.
Rhino Shield's not paint, it's a ceramic coating, which is better.
So the Rhino Shield crew that came out was really good. Next to our building, we have some automotive repair shop. There was No paint, no overspray anywhere that I could see, even on the concrete.
Business or residential, Rhino Shield comes with a 25-year warranty and is formulated specifically for our unique climate here in Chicago. And right now you can get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
You don't think of paint as an investment, but when you don't have to worry about painting your building for 25 years, to me is a no-brainer.
This offer is limited, so call 847-850-1132 or ChicagoRhinoShield.com. That's ChicagoRhinoShield.com.
Go Rhino Shield. I remember sitting in the kitchen, heartbroken, overwhelmed, staring at costs and a list of decisions. I prayed for strength and reached out to Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, only to hear that Mom had already pre-planned everything so my siblings and I would be protected. Because she planned ahead, we weren't pulled apart by heartbreaking decisions.
Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5400 to schedule a free consultation.
Family fun is back at Go-Bert's Farm in Pingree Grove. For over 40 years, Go-Bert's is Chicagoland's family destination for fall fun. Come experience new rides, a huge corn play box, train adventure, farm animals, and our famous pumpkin-eating dinosaur.
This was the most fun day ever. My parents were there, my kids were there. There was a pumpkin patch, a maze, a haunted house, slides, a train, a fresh market, and there was so much more. I loved it.
It's a family tradition for us to visit Go-Bert's. The pumpkins are great, the attractions are fun, and the apple cider donuts are to die for.
Loved it. One price to get in. My kids had a blast.
And the kids say,
my mom loves the homemade caramel apple.
I have to say, the pumpkin cannon is cool.
They got a pumpkin-eating dinosaur. The live giraffe is really cool.
I love the jumping pillow and the pumpkin express train ride.
Go-Bert's Farm in Pingree Grove. Pick apples, visit the pumpkin patch, explore the park, and just have fun. Go to GoBirds.com to purchase tickets now. That's GoBirds.com. Go-Birds, harvesting family memories.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Squirrel, we have to go see the Go-Birds when I'm in town. Wonderful, wonderful people, great place. AJ Rice is a guy who I enjoy having on. You want to talk about somebody who wants to put up a fight against the destruction of our country. It's AJ Rice. He's the CEO of Publius PR, also the author of numerous books. His new book is already the #1 political satire book in America, The Curse of the Bearded Lady, How the Trans Mafia Whacked American Sanity. It's out now. He's AJ Rice. He'll join us after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom, where we see a partly sunny day in the forecast with a high near 81. There could soon be a new train taking travelers to Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. Today, a group of Chicago business and civic leaders announced plans for what they're calling the O'Hare Flyer. It's an electric express train, providing 15-minute rides from downtown to Terminal 2. The O'Hare Flyer is a private venture, not seeking government subsidy or funding. Nurses at St. Mary of Nazareth Hospital in Chicago's Ukrainian Village have announced a one-day strike. It will be September 3 to September 4. The White House outlining what it calls economic D-Day against Iran.
They have murdered and maimed more of our citizens and service members than any other terrorist regime on earth.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. 3 states holding primary elections today: South Carolina, Georgia, and Oklahoma. The news, a service of Woodland Windows and Doors in Roselle. For over 52 years, Woodland has been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, featuring styles ranging from modern to traditional. Visit woodlandwindows.com to get started today. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages rising as tech stocks bounce back ahead of NVIDIA's big earnings release on Wednesday. Falling Treasury yields and oil prices boosting investor sentiment. NVIDIA stock was up 2%, the AI darling snapping its 7-session losing streak. Investors are looking to NVIDIA's earnings for AI growth signals. Chip stocks driving Tuesday's gain. Shares of Advanced Micro Devices rising 5% following an upgrade from Raymond James analysts. Falling oil prices easing easing inflation worries with West Texas Intermediate crude settling over $82. The Dow up 160 points, the Nasdaq higher by 171, S&P 500 up 24. Shares of Dick's Sporting Goods sinking over 30%, marking its largest percentage decline on record. The sports retailer's second quarter earnings came in below expectations, and Dick's cut its annual profit outlook. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Hey, it's Shaun Thompson. You know, one day it's market volatility. The next day it's conflict overseas. Price jumps, confidence drops, and suddenly retirement feels less certain. When the latest headline pushes costs higher and stokes inflation fears, it can have a ripple effect on your investments and your budget. But here's the thing. Retirement shouldn't depend on perfect timing or on the latest geopolitical noise. Tom Fortino and the Alpha Wealth Group help families right here in the Chicago area build a plan to create income you can't outlive, control taxes, minimize risk, protect your assets, and prepare an estate and legacy plan. It's their 5-pillar retirement planning. Ready to learn more? To get your complimentary retirement roadmap and a retirement analysis today, schedule a meeting with Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group by calling 630-864-6711. That number again, 630-864-6711, or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-393-1881. That's 800-393-1881. 800-393-1881.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Westbound I-80 at Richards, watch out for an accident off to the shoulder, but traffic is still heavy. It's no problem going out on the Edens. Kennedy 45, Chamberlain Interchange to O'Hare, Eisenhower, also 1 hour, Post Office to 390. Stevenson, hour and 5 to get to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. 35 minutes outbound Ryan and the Locals Express, slowing 35th. Down to Marquette. Roadwork delays up on 115th down to 159th. DuSable Lakeshore Drive heavy. So is the Tri-State either way with an accident. Southbound at the 83rd Toll Plaza. Northbound Veterans Tollway. An accident at North Avenue in the right lane. This report is a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions to surround your target audience. Go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 65. On Wednesday, there will be a mix of clouds and sun with a chance of a thunderstorm developing late morning onwards. It will be humid with the possibility of gusty winds accompanying any downpour. The high will reach 84 degrees. Wednesday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all guns. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America. He's here to seize back our rights from the government with a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
As I read the accomplishments of my next guest, who I enjoy so much, I want to add to it, good friend to my show, somebody who has helped us with introductions and interviews. He has a wonderful company, puts up the good fight to save America. President and CEO of Publius PR, editor-in-chief of Publius National Post, host of Dangerous Laughter podcast, which can be found at dangerouslaughter.com. Also, the author of the #1 political satire book in America, The Curse of the Bearded Lady, How Trans Mafia Whacked American Sanity. He's A.J. Rice. A.J., how are you?
Shaun, my brother, I'm back. I'm out of FCC jail. Great to be here.
It. Yes, it's very, very congratulations. It's nice to get out of the Soviet Union gulags every once in a while, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, I love writing books, Shaun, that you can't read in public, right? You
remember when we were kids?
You can't wave it around in public, right?
Remember when you were kids and you'd get to your uncle's book and it would be like detectives and it'd be crime scenes. You'd be like, oh my God, I gotta go hide it. Can't let anybody watch me even looking at this book. I love that because there used to be the fact and the innuendo and there was reality. Now in America, the insanity is so absurd it catches the logical man and woman flat-footed. And you took it on, and I love the title of the book because it is a mafia. It is so fracking preposterous that I have to pretend a pot-bellied, fat-ass man is the first female admiral in the fracking government. Are you out of your mind? What tavern could that bastard walk into? I'm a lady.
Right. I mean, look, Donald Trump, when he came back in, they tried to bring some sanity. These weren't the rear admirals they're looking for, so they had to replace them. They had to replace these admirals, get rid of some of the bearded ladies, and, bring some order and discipline back to the United States military.
AJ, it's an insult on every level. I've got cuts on the board, right? And we've got these transvestites that are molesting women as they pretend to be wrestlers, and they want to only wrestle women. They want to play basketball, only play basketball, tennis, only play tennis.
That's right.
And and as a man, it's in our gene to protect somebody weaker, in my opinion. It just is. I don't have to be related to a woman to see if a guy's harassing her in a tavern. I beat the dung out of him. I'm looking for that. When I get up and brush my teeth, I'm hoping to stumble across that. And the insult is also to the man. I was having this conversation with my friends. We had a rougher neighborhood, but it was a great neighborhood. And you would hang out, and if somebody would wander in from another neighborhood, another man, and he would lie and hit on your girl, whatever the case is. What's the first thing you did? You grab him by the top of the hair, you take him out in the parking lot, and you make him regret ever making a left turn on Lake Street.
That's how we do it in Philadelphia, brother.
Same thing.
I mean,
and now you're gonna.
It didn't need to be a bearded lady. It could be a bearded weirdo.
No,
but they get treated the same way.
And now you're gonna take this illness. And you're going to pretend, okay, come on, you're one of the guys, let's go in the men's room. Here's how you work a urinal, and they go into trousers and there's nothing. It's just preposterous. How do you combat it other than laugh at it?
That's right. I mean, you have to. I mean, you always remember, and you know what, I've been on here with the Woking Dead and the White Privilege album. Comedy is moral warfare by other means. You have to go there. You have to, because some of this stuff, Democrat Party lifts up their skirt and there's 72 genders under there. A time traveler 100 years from now is going to come, and they're going to think. I mean, look, there's always been a long history of junk science. We've got it with climate change. We had it with COVID. We have it with this. But there's been a long history of weird stuff that has been debunked. And this moment in time, the fact that one of the major political parties in the United States can't admit that there's only two genders, and that, my friend, is the curse. The curse is the fact that they can't shake it. They have to go down with the bearded lady shift. They have to genuflect to the trans mafia. They have to do it. I mean, look, I wrote in the book, this guy, this lightweight from Massachusetts, Seth Moulton, after the 2024 election, he basically said, maybe I don't want a dude running my daughter over on the lacrosse field or field hockey thing. But then I saw him 2 weeks ago, he's apologizing for this. So most of the Democrat Party is captured by the normalization of sadism. They are against – this is a fight for basically human nature, and they can't shake it. They're not going to be able to shake it. So they're going to continue to lose elections because this really isn't about Republican or Democrat. It's about sanity and insanity. Well, and the Democrat Party, if they're going to double down on this, they're going to continue to pay the price at the ballot box.
The problem that we, as the decent, have is that we fight Marcus of Queensberry, and they fight the Ulster Scots will bite your nose off and gouge out your eye. And we set ourselves up. We hamstring ourselves.
Right.
And when you have these areas, and we talk about elections, I don't even want to talk about an election in a Democrat area. I'm from Chicago, man. They've been bragging my entire existence about stealing fracking election. It's a joke. It's a joke. I just watched Minnesota, as you call it, what do you call it? Democracy, representatives. They voted to keep, if it wasn't, this is as preposterous as a pot-bellied man with a miniskirt, to keep dead people on the voter rolls. And they voted to keep it. You're gonna pretend that it's an election now? Don't make me go through the gymnastics, the theater of pretending you're legitimate. These are the areas that are set up to siphon and steal. What I need to do is figure out how to move forward with a nonviolent secession movement. It is the only answer. What do you do? In our own families, what do you do? Everybody's got that one moron cousin, right? They started with the Vaseline on their face, smoking the crack pipe. What do you do? You don't say, how about I get you a charge card and limit it? You throw them out and you tie them to a railroad track. You don't do anything. I mean, we're financing our own destruction.
I agree. And look, we've got mental patients that are being affirmed instead of admitted to a psych ward. See, the Democrat Party knows that confusion breeds dependence. And they do it with race, and obviously they do it with the trans mafia. Look, I'm a geriatric millennial. And, YouTube was invented on Valentine's Day in 2004. So I already had my Sony Walkman. I already knew how to, ride a bike. I knew the difference between The Who and The Doors and Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd. I knew the difference between Public Enemy and Wu-Tang Clan. We got into the mix. Like, we were out in the playground talking trash, playing stickball, playing basketball, playing pig. We were basically the 90s version of the Sandlot kids. But what has gone on now? Because of these devices, because of, the social justice warriors pushing identity politics, they have captured these youth because they need an army of 300-pound blue-haired monsters because they're slowly losing, and we saw this in the last election, different ethnic groups. You think a bunch of Hispanic Catholics have just escaped some dump? You think they're down with the bearded lady? They are not. They are not. That's why you saw all of those counties along the Texas-Mexican border flip to Trump. So they need new foot soldiers. And I find it fascinating because, like, when we came up, whether you're Gen X or millennial, especially the people born in the 80s, we sort of ordered our universe by, what music was out, who was in town, maybe a comedy special, maybe it's a movie, you try to go to the mall, pick up chicks at the mall. None of that is going on anymore. And we're getting weirder and weirder and more insular. And these people are voting Democrat. They are fanatics. And they pick up every single one of the Democrat little, cause celebs, whether it's gays for Palestine, right? Or whether it's backing Bernie Sanders and his sort of army of kooks that are winning elections across the country.
One of the funny things is, in my life, it was an interesting time to be alive, right? And I have relatives who I love, friends who I love, who were gay, who were homosexual. It never bothered me. Never once. I didn't give a rip. I still, to this day, I could care less what your sexual proclivity is. But the idea that it became a resume builder in there is a kind of a little bit of an issue. And, when I break it down and you look at what we have here, right? We're not arguing anymore. There is no Democrat policy that works. There is no Democrat political scheme that ever came to fruition the way it was sold. And the list is long, but you can look at the areas that are governed by Democrats. They are the definition of a ghetto. When they discuss economics, it is a lie. It's ghettonomics. They talk about pretending to be a hub of business and commerce. The Magnificent Mile in Chicago is a fracking disgrace. The quality of life, the business is leaving. It's your old town. It's my town. It's California. It's wherever they are.
Yeah.
So there is no argument. So this topic, this particular topic that you took on, this is to me is the greatest place to fight the battle, because it is so preposterous. It is so upset, but it holds the common denominators of all things. It's a mental illness. And this is a mental
100%.
illness that is incentivized rather than treated, and Big Pharma's responsible for it. And you know what else you never heard of? Did you ever? Were your grandmother? How old was your what year was your grandmother born? Was she a Depression?
They were World War II.
Okay, so mine too.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear these people who grew up with nothing? And I'm serious. Grandmothers.
Yeah, they went through the Great Depression as children.
Did you ever hear one say, "You know what? I got an anxiety. I got a lot of anxiety. My grandmother made soup out of chicken feet. I never heard her say I'm depressed. Boy, I'm anxious. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm going to go talk to a therapist." And they go, and they're cross-eyed bimbos who just graduated college, whether they're men or women, and they don't know their ass from their elbow, and they're giving other people advice. When did that break in our tradition? You don't take advice from anybody who didn't succeed. You never ask a loser, "What do you think?" There's our problem.
Well, the second these devices became the mentors, these devices became the coaches. These devices became the best friends of these people. I had coaches, CYO basketball, they'd slap you upside the head, go run suicide, my grandmother used to yell at me if my baseball uniform wasn't dirty when I came home. What, did you not play hard enough? I want that thing dirty when you come home. Don't come home unless it's dirty. She was a German Catholic woman from, Northeast Philadelphia. She wasn't playing around with that. But you are right. Listen to me. You're talking about the big pharma, doctors. We're talking about
billions.
Capturing. They want lifelong patients
Billions.
Representing tens of thousands of billable treatments and follow-ups. It's the United States of Mengele.
Yeah,
right.
There's
plenty of doctors out there that have done the doctor book, the medical examination. I'm doing a cultural autopsy. I was raised on Rush. I was raised on people that, Howard before he lost his mind. And you have to use humor to fight back. Ridicule travels faster than rebellion.
That's my whole life. You know what I love to do? I like to make fun of people who never thought they'd be made fun of. The half-assed gangsters with the Zanzibar pants and the love handles hanging off with the white belt and the patent leather shoes. What are you, in the construction business? You never worked a day in your fracking life. But it has to have the component of truth. And this is a component of truth. Every issue we face, every moray that is supposedly changed, is always for the worse. And it's such an obvious scandal. And you said it earlier. We have right now sitting on the Supreme Court, which is supposed to be the highest court in the land to interpret the rule of law. That's what our country is built on, the rule of law, and that's it. And she could not ask the question. So now every time she opens, I don't care what she says. Affirmative action Jackson means nothing to me. She's just another moron in government that couldn't get a job outside of it and shouldn't get a job outside of it. So
the only job she's got, she goes to New York City and they let her Twinkle Toes go across Broadway. She's like doing she's doing the Spike Lee version of Tony and Tina's Wedding or something up there. It's just ridiculous. The fact that she couldn't answer, soon to be Governor Marsha Blackburn's question, and she's up there on the Supreme Court, and there were some dummies. I think there were even a few Republican dummies that voted for her. She can't tell that there's only two genders. How the heck is she going to be able to tell what the founding fathers intended? As far as she's concerned, the founding fathers were bearded ladies.
Exactly. And you know what I love about what you're doing with this book, in my opinion, is that you're pulling people out of the coma that they're obviously in. This is about the money. When you hear these politicians run on Medicaid for all, government health care, it's to prop up this fraud industry of pharmaceuticals, big pharma, and these fraud therapists that never existed. when the country was run on a principle and a rule of law. They couldn't have existed. And you look at this is a $1 trillion industry when you factor in antidepressants. When we've got kids, 11, 12,
That's right.
13, antidepressants. Are you out of your fracking mind? You teach them how to be a ward of the state, and you pay the very perpetrators who turned our country into drug addicts with OxyContin, and they never paid a bill for it. Remember all the fines? Right. All these companies got their money back for the fines and times it by 10 with the COVID vaccine shots. So sooner or later, we're going to have to pull people out of it. When you're entertaining the idea that a woman can be a man and a man can be a woman, there is no reality anymore. And to support an American Democrat, there cannot be reality. There is no answer in their world of lies, is there?
The trans conveyor belt, puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, surgeries, leave the gun, take the quinones. That's the goal. They got jackpot written across their forehead. And look, you go around the country and you look at left-wing think tanks, special interest groups, people that are trying to get grants at, public universities, private universities. It's just like with climate change. If you slip that into your white paper, you will get funded from the left. So if you want to talk about, the sex change operations of the Hercules beetle, they'll pay for it. Just slip it in there, and you can just print money. That's what the left-wing academics are doing, and it's horrific. People need to know about it.
And it's funny you say grants. I do a lot of research on this nonsense. When you look at the debt we have, right? The debt has accumulated $31 trillion since Barack Obama was late on his car payment as a bust out in Chicago on the down low, trying not to get caught in a car in a forest preserve with another fella, right? $31 trillion. A tremendous amount of that is in grants. The scandal comes out. 74 to 78% of grants cannot be traced. You look at Illinois. When you factor in the welfare reimbursements and the federal grants, it's $77 billion. Illinois state budget is $56, which is a tremendous increase. But $77 billion comes into Illinois from the federal government in the form of grants and welfare entitlements. They're stealing the fracking money.
Oh, my
it's
God.
that
And
easy.
it would make Marty Byrd and Walter White proud. I mean, the wash that has gone on that comes in. I mean, that's what USAID was doing. I mean,
of course.
All of a sudden, and once the gravy train dried up, right? We were funding all kinds of things.
But you take that and you put that to these kids that you've told since the time they're in sixth grade, right? They're gonna have a problem with me and you because we're not buying their stuff, and thank God, we've got the ability to articulate it in some form or another. But 80% of these kids who've been on antidepressants, who told you feel like a kitty cat today, you feel like a man, a girl, what do you feel like today? They're not focusing on the people who are telling them that they have depression, that they have illness, that they should cut off their tatas and their bedads and the rest of it. These people are the ones stealing the fracking money. So to me, we have a very narrow window. And that's what I was so excited about between Trump and Doge and the billions, hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars that goes into this malpractice, this butchering of our citizens. I figure we got about 2.5, maybe 4 years left. What do you think when you look at it? Because if they can exist in this world of insanity, where they're pretending men can be women and women can be men, all they got to do is wait us out, don't they?
Absolutely. And they'll change the language so they can't get, tagged with certain types of monikers. But it's a social contagion mixed with peer pressure. I call it a peer contagion. It's a peer contagion. And like this thing called the Werther effect, which is copycat suicide, I mean, it has spread. It has spread big time. Grooming kids, mentally ill adults, and and it's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's funny that the media can see patterns in all kinds of things. All the people with red hats on are racist. All these people are this way and this and that, but they can't see the fact that, and I outline it in the book, a lot of these attacks that we've had on schools recently, they're all from non-binary or trans people. But CNN can't see it. Anderson Cooper can't see it. It's all esoteric. If it was a bunch of Catholic nuns from, South Philly, they would be able to see it. But they can't see it. They can't see the pattern.
You know why I'm optimistic? Because it's going to lose. It has to lose. This kind of evil can never win. But it's obvious where they attacked. They attacked it in the schools. And I'm going to tell you something, AJ, that doesn't get a lot of coverage, but I know you. You're like a bulldog. I'm going to give you this little tidbit. You'll be chewing on it for days. Next thing you know, boom, a big article.
Give it to me.
I'm going to tell you what it is. The amount of pedophiles, degenerates, and groomers in the Chicago public school system, I think it's the same in all the public school systems, from New York to Philly to L.A. This is where they're setting the tone, and this is where they're sexualizing our kids. And that has to stop. And the only way it stops, AJ, I really think homeschool and the internet, and I think you're going to see AI teachers. It's going to save the world, because you got to get these kids away from these sick bastards known as Democrats.
You might be right.
Look,
You
got to go forward with it.
It doesn't matter whether it's Sandusky or Michael Jackson. I mean, the reality is that kids in broken homes, fresh supply of victims, of course, in the public school systems, failing public schools. Why would they fly towards that like pedophiles flying to the
And they're hopeless. The kids are hopeless because they're illiterate.
Right.
The entire country's 3 out of 10 kids can read at grade level. So you got the highest level of functioning illiterates since the founding of the country. And when you go to these specific areas like Chicago, it's even less. It's 18 out of 100 kids can read. So now you got kids that can't read. They don't know who to report to. Who are you going to report to? The authority in your life, the teacher, is the one doing it. You got to save the kids by pulling them out of these schools. I'm telling you, AJ, I think the world of AI teachers, we're going to make a fortune. I'm doing it right now, AJ. We're going to come up with something. I'm going to come up with me as a professor. We'll get somebody that died in my family 1,000 years ago. I'll dress her up like the female teacher. We take on the world. We save everything. What do you say, AJ?
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And look, you need to keep doing what you're doing on this station. Humor is a public audit of society. You have to keep dunking on them here on this station. This is part 3 of the mental illness trilogy. I'm sure there'll be a part 4 in the future.
Yeah, you want to see humor? I got a Pritzker family photo on the wall behind the TVs. That every time I'm feeling a little melancholy, I look at the Flintstones up there, all trust fund babies worth billions of dollars, and every one of their toilet seats and pillowcase have the same view.
What's going on with the triple chin maxing? What is going on? It looks like the surface of the moon, this guy. What?
Listen, hands as soft as a baby's ass. Never did a day's work in his life and can't tie his shoes. Every pair of shoes he's got is a slip-on, AJ. So the podcast...
Right. Mr. Black & Decker, yes. Exactly.
The podcast, where do I get it? How often do I get it? How often are you doing it?
Twice a week. We drop episodes twice a week. It's called Dangerous Laughter with AJ Rice. And we're on every platform, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, everywhere.
The book is The Curse of the Bearded Lady, How the Trans Mafia Whacked American Sanity. It's out now. He is AJ Rice. Thanks for everything. I really appreciate the friendship. Thank you.
Love you, brother. You keep fighting him. Smoke one for me, all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, after we go
Burn
to break.
that
Thank you. Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
Chicagoland, get ready. The Fall Parade of Homes is coming to Valparaiso, Indiana, September 18th through the 27th. This year, experience a true single-site parade featuring 7 high-end custom homes situated on large country lots by 7 premier builders, all in one incredible subdivision, Stonebridge of Valparaiso. Tour homes by Bruce Built Construction, Crusader Homes, Davis Homes, Harvey Custom Homes, Hendren Custom Homes, Steiner Homes, and Summit Home Builders. Plus, make a day of it with weekend festivals and special events throughout the 10-day parade, open daily from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Made possible by the Home Builders Association of Northwest Indiana, developer sponsor Stonebridge Subdivision, and leading event sponsor Schillings, and exclusive vehicle sponsor Far Nissan of Chesterton. 7 homes, 7 builders, 10 days, 1 incredible parade. Learn more at paradeofhomesnwi.com. Again, that's paradeofhomesnwi.com.
Labor Day and the American labor movement were built on 3 fundamental principles: fair wages, reasonable hours, and big savings on beauty rest at Hassellus Mattress. Or something like that. Now through Labor Day, Hassellus will give you a free adjustable base with the purchase of any Beauty Rest mattress, including Beauty Rest World Class and the Ultra Luxury Beauty Rest Black. If your current mattress has been laboring under you for the past decade, it deserves a much-needed retirement. Visit a Hassellus employee-free showroom and test your favorite mattress without commission-crazed salespeople hovering over you. Employee-free means way low prices. Others sell the Queen Beauty Rest Premium World Class Thatcher 4KA mattress for $2,450. But Hassellus has it for just $1,788, plus a free adjustable base, plus an additional $200 off, plus free next day delivery, plus a $100 rewards cash card. Now through Labor Day at Hassellus Mattress. Find an employee-free showroom near you at hassellus.com.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
Jukebox Hero better be tuning up the guitar right now, Squirrel. We don't need any guitar strings breaking. It's going to be a soiree, a party, a family reunion happening this Friday, coming up right now. They call it Shaun Fest, but it's just me and you and quality time. Weston and Itasca this time. Right behind it is called the Lakeside Pavilion. It's going to be fantastic. But you have to register. Just like the country, we don't want any illegal aliens. Just go to 560theanswer.com/SHAUNFEST. No charge. Just show up, but we got to know how much food they have available, because it'll be available. How much drink they have available, because it'll be available. We're going to have the band. Squirrel Hands is going to be there. Honey Bunny, you're going to meet all the people that make this show possible, from advertisers to some of the suits will be there as well, so be on your best behavior. I'm going to get there around 3, and I'm going to stay as late as it takes, and I want to say always a special thank you to everybody who makes this go on. That's what I think it is, because it's a thank you to you, too. Nobody's looking to charge you anything. I just want it all to come together and say thank you, along with some of our great advertisers, from Donley, Goldilocks, Alpha Wealth Group, Virago, Dr. Huber, leaving I-L.com, State Farm Insurance Agent Anthony DeGrotto. He's probably going to have something there with Pritzker and a cutout. Who knows? Unique Wood and Flags, Class A Insurance. You're going to meet Tommy and TJ Iaquinta. Wonderful people who built a family business. And that's going to be everybody there. Everybody there is going to be a decent Illinoisan, a decent Wisconsin resident, Indiana. We got people coming from, 9 states? 9 states. But more importantly, they're people of good character who love the country. So we're going to sing the national anthem live, entertainment, and you're going to hear from Charlie Kirk as we sign off. So we've got to take a little bit of the sad of the people we lost, but celebrate the people we still have at Shaun Fest. 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. When we get back, Mike in Racine, Wisconsin, you're going to be first. 312-642-5600. If you care to follow Mike and Mike Scott, we'll be back.
Good evening, Shaun. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Tonight, we see partly cloudy skies with a low of 66. 3 states holding primary elections today, including South Carolina. That's where President Trump-backed Republican Senator Darlene Graham is facing Congressman Ralph Norman. A high-profile Chicago priest is being reinstated after facing sex abuse allegations. Father Michael Flager was reinstated to his position at St. Sabina Church. An investigation by the Archdiocese of Chicago concluded he was not guilty of the allegation. Health officials are confirming a case of the measles in Kane County. The health department working with healthcare providers to try and identify and notify those who may have been exposed. Cubs and Diamondbacks again tonight. White Sox take on the Rangers. The news a service of Steiner Homes. You're invited to tour one of their affordable luxury homes at Northwest Indiana's Parade of Homes, September 18th through the 27th. Visit paradeofhomesnwi.com for details and discover why Chicagoland families are choosing Steiner Homes. Love where you live. Your next news update is at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of your evening commute with Jill Urchak.
On the outbound Edens, no delays. The Kennedy downtown to O'Hare. That is a 45-minute trip. Going out on the Eisenhower 1 hour, post office to 390 Stevenson, hour and 5 out to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan, 35 minutes to 95th, slowing in the Express, 35th to Marquette. The outbound Ford, heavy with roadwork 115th down to 159th. Also very heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive and the Tri-State, but the Tri-State not too bad. The Reagan eastbound, a crash cleared at Route 53, another cleared northbound 355 at North Avenue, but southbound 53, an accident on the exit ramp to Algonquin, blocking the right shoulder. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Prof University and the Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low temperature of 65. On Wednesday, there will be a mix of clouds and sun with a chance of a thunderstorm developing in some areas by late morning. It'll be humid with the possibility of gusty winds accompanying any downpours. The high temperature will reach 84 degrees. Wednesday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Regular no lead in Cook County is $3.94 a gallon at the Quick Trip on 25th in Bellwood, $3.99 a gallon at the SNK on 71st in Chicago, and $3.99 a gallon at the Sam's Club in Northlake.
If you see a low gas price, text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location. And listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
The new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power comparison between AP300PC and AP300S.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family-owned with integrity since 1981.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
Near the end of the Revolutionary War, George Washington received a letter from one of his own officers. Colonel Louis Nicola suggested that America might be better served by a monarchy, with Washington himself as king. Washington firmly rejected the idea. He had spent years leading Americans in a fight for independence from a monarchy. He would not see that victory end with America creating a king of its own. He understood that the cause of the revolution was greater than any one man. His example reminds us that power can be offered, earned, or taken. But character determines whether we use it for ourselves or remain faithful to something greater.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Vintage toys or model trains in the attic? Sell them for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Healthcare for all! Even the crackheads that blow their feet off with a 357? I gotta pay for that too. Fentanyl smugglers, Central and South America and Canada. By the way, that Canadian healthcare, that sucks. We got a listener in Canada, he agrees with me. You can stay. You come with me now. You know, Squirrel, he can only come and visit me. I noticed this because I have a Canadian friend down here. He has to stay a certain amount of time, then he has to fly back. He sold his business, most successful guy in the world. What do you mean you got to go back? Yeah, I can't. What do you mean you can't? No, I have to go back. Have to go back? So then you're a slave. Well, yeah, I'm Canadian. Mike, Racine, Wisconsin.
Hey, Shaun, can you hear me?
Beautifully. Loud and clear. You must be on one of those set phones.
Nah, just an old Apple 10 phone. Anyway, I got one simple statement and I got one simple question.
A twofer.
My statement is, you are so appreciated because you may be the most honest radio host, television host in the country, maybe in the world. Okay?
Oh, thank you. That's a big
I
compliment.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
I appreciate
It's
truth,
by accident,
okay?
but thank you. I'm just a jerk who can't tell a lie. I want to pick a fight, and I want to say it right to their face. I love it when you look at them. You think you're a man? Your father and your grandfather had contracts with the Chicago. You got a ghost job. What are you, a man? Sit at the kid table. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you, sir. So my question is, I see these idiots keep winning elections in Illinois and Chicago, Pritzkers, Brandons, you name them. Are people really that dumb? I have a high opinion of people, but it's going south in a hurry. Are people really that dumb, or is the fraud machine that big?
It's a combination, but here's what you have to understand. It's the system that delivered. When you have people who are functioning illiterate, they don't have many options. They don't have much confidence. They cannot do because they weren't taught how to think or reason. So this falls on the blame of a school system, but what was the goal of the school system? A school system built on fraud, where you're paying $33,000 per head of illegal aliens, of kids that don't show up, for teachers that don't show up, is a great system of fraud, and it cannot deliver results, or that system cannot exist. If people could read, if people could do math, and they would understand the kind of money that is being stolen in the name of education that does not happen, they would be outraged. They wouldn't be outraged at Republicans. They would be outraged at the very people who tell them they're helping them, known as Democrats, which is why it's the perfect soiree and swindle of fraud, ghettonomics, and ghetto living, where it gets lower and lower and lower, and you celebrate it, which is how you can still have people that say, my grandson is doing great. Really? Yes, he only missed 60 days of school last year, and he can almost read. That's low living, Mike. They bring everybody's standards down, and before you know it, you're voting for food stamps because you can't provide your own food. You're voting for free rent because you can't pay it. That's the game. That's the cycle of corruption, the backdoor Soviet nation that the Russians dreamt of, and we're doing it. And therein lies the problem, Mike. Thank you very much for the call. And when it comes to teachers, boy, oh boy, who's doing the hiring? Which fracking moron is hiring the pedophiles? Or is it a pedophile himself that hires the other pedophiles?
Now, NBC5 investigates a suburban Chicago grade school teacher who's been accused of sexually assaulting 5 young students. Mario Garcia.
5? Well, is there a father among the 5? Break his neck! What the frack is going on here?
Is being held without bond and has a court date in a week. But tonight, we have learned that the 3rd grade teacher in West Chicago should never have been in that classroom.
And that's because he was put on a no-hire list 20 years ago. That was after allegations of sexual misconduct against students. Investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy has been...
Squirrel, I remember when that pedophile scum sexual deviant list came out. You know what they was called in Melrose Park? That's fun night! When you got nothing to do, there's no card games. You're a little bored. You get the list. Go knock on doors.
Looking into the case.
Mario Garcia was a predator in the classroom, according to the new allegations against him. Garcia was working as a 3rd grade teacher in West Chicago when they're...
3rd grade. How old are you, Squirrel? In 3rd grade. You're still a little kid. You're still a little kid. People drop off these kids to this sick bastard pig.
There were sexual abuse and assault complaints made against him involving 5 students. Tonight, the NBC Chicago investigative team has learned that it wasn't the first time 54-year-old Garcia had been accused. He was terminated by Chicago Public Schools and put on a no-hire list after being charged with having a sexual relationship with a 14-year-old.
No prison time, though? I just want to be very, very clear. So Chicago public schools, those simpletons, those illiterate morons, because if you can't teach the kids, odds are the same percentages can only read if they're teachers. You morons, you didn't prosecute? You didn't turn it over to Peanut Head, Kim Fox, or was she already gone by then? How did it work?
2005. That alone should have disqualified Garcia from other teaching jobs. This is Courier Elementary School in West Chicago. That teacher in the front of his third grade classroom is Mario Rene Garcia. 1 year ago, before the start of the 25-26 school year, Garcia was among just a few teachers spotlighted by the district.
I gotta tell you, Squirrel, I can't even listen to him. He'd be strapped to the Buick Riviera like a frickin' deer. Like a deer! This son of a pig. And he got another job. They hired him again. Who did the hiring in West Chicago? Which scientist, which brainiac, which professor did the hiring? And this is why your taxes are going up. Right there. Congratulations. That's what it's like when the government protects the predators. 312-642-5600.
What if everything you've been told about government, healthcare, poverty, energy, and even science is a carefully constructed lie? In Shaun Thompson's new book, What If It's All a Lie? Shaun Thompson dismantles the myths at the core of modern America. This is the book the ruling class doesn't want you to read. And once you do, you won't see the world the same way again. Order your copy today at ShaunThompsonShow.com/book.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker and my new co-host,
Amy Jacobson,
on AM 560. We wanted you to know that we have a special show every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. here on AM 560, The Answer. It is Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker and
Amy Jacobson.
It's every Sunday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. 2-hour show, 2-hour radio extravaganza. Amy, we're going to tantalize the listening public and the listening private with all kinds of retirement planning information. So tune in at AM 560 Sunday mornings at 7 a.m.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
Near the end of the Revolutionary War, George Washington received a letter from one of his own officers. Colonel Louis Nicholas suggested that America might be better served by a monarchy, with Washington himself as king. Washington firmly rejected the idea. He had spent years leading Americans in a fight for independence from a monarchy. He would not see that victory end with America creating a king of its own. He understood that the cause of the revolution was greater than any one man. His example reminds us that power can be offered, earned, or taken. But character determines whether we use it for ourselves or remain faithful to something greater.
AM 560, The Answer.
I thought about it. Well, who are you going to charge him? Who's going to be the prosecutor, let alone which Democrat in a costume pretending to be a judge would have got the case? Would it have been the chief moron before his big promotion?
After more than 2 decades as the chief judge of the Cook County Circuit Court, Tim Evans is now an appellate court justice. He sat down with me to talk about this new opportunity to help shape the judicial system from the other side of the bench.
Yeah, because you've done a great job from the Cook County court system as you let out pedophiles, gangbangers, drug dealers, all around degenerate scumbags. Free on society. But now the kids. Who's going to adjudicate this case? And why should he ever walk the streets again?
Month, the spotlight is on Garcia, not for his teaching prowess, but for his arrest on 11 felony counts in DuPage County, including predatory criminal sexual assault, alleging Garcia victimized children younger than 13 from his position of trust as a teacher. On Garcia's employment application with West Chicago, he stated that he'd never been terminated from a teaching job, which wasn't true. He was fired by
Chuck, I know it. It's your first day, right? Investigative reporter. So you mean somebody that would fondle kids, somebody that would steal policy and fraud over time and lie about their resume. They would even lie on a resume when it comes to being arrested. I can't believe it! Somebody call the media. Oh, you are the media. Stupid.
Chicago Public Schools in 2005 after police said he had an after-school sexual relationship with a 14-year-old and he was prosecuted. Garcia was acquitted 20 years ago, according to his attorney, and the record sealed, but he remained on the do not hire list.
The record was sealed? You mean like the divorce papers of Jack Ryan, who ran against Barack Obama, who was in the back seat of a limousine with Larry Sinclair looking for his underpants? You mean sealed like that? I wonder, you think that was the Ed Burke, fat-ass, pasty-ass Irish mafia, or the short-in-the-pants Mike Madigan mafia that unsealed those records for Jack Ryan? Which one do you think it is, Squirrel? It doesn't matter. It might have been in the Daily Illiterate Mafia. How do I get out of this room?
And a quick internet search by West Chicago officials would have turned up this, a Tribune story about Garcia's arrest back in 2005.
From my experience following education systems, especially in Illinois, what we've come to learn and find out is that the schools are just so, and its administrators are so inundated.
Should people be satisfied that they're too busy to field these things?
Absolutely not. If there's one sector that needs to prioritize the adults entering the buildings that are serving our schools and the educators.
So what's the penalty? They're getting a raise. They're getting a raise. They're like Arnie Rivera. They're one step away from a ghost job being a teacher in Chicago. One step away. Although, is it really? Is it really even a job? What do you call it? What do you call it? Just hunting grounds? What exactly is it referred to in these ghettos? Every single one of them, Squirrel. You know what the common denominator is? Democrat. Democrat to the core. And they have to be, Squirrel, because that is the party without any standards.
I probably smoke more Parmesan cheese than anyone.
I sat down with Hunter Biden, the son of Joe and Jill Biden, and it was a riveting conversation.
He's a traitor, a bagman, a crackhead, a degenerate, and a deadbeat father, Squirrel. You believe that? I can't even believe that. I'm sure it's wonderful.
You got that job. Right. I went to Yale Law School.
You got that job because you were...
Okay,
just admit it.
Yeah, 100%. As I've said on a million interviews, is that, I'm incredibly privileged.
Privileged? You're not privileged. You're mobbed up, scumbag. Privileged. You live like a ghetto snipe rat.
More bad news for President Biden's train wreck son, Hunter. His ex-wife, Kathleen, is publishing a blockbuster memoir, If We Break, detailing Hunter's relentless drug use and infidelity.
She thought she was losing her mind.
An exclusive excerpt from the book is running in the latest issue of People. The magazine's Sandra Soberai Westfall spoke to Hunter's ex. How does Kathleen describe her time being married to Hunter Biden?
It started out a dream in many ways.
But their marriage unraveled as Hunter's drug and alcohol use spiraled out of control.
There are scenes in the book where she is going mad.
Banging a stripper, banging the sister-in-law, smoking crack, and idolized by the Democrats.
The Hunter Biden story, the scandal, the this, the that, it's also the story of a father's love. And Joe Biden has never and will never give up on his son.
Hundreds of millions stolen through that scumbag. We'll be back.
I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. If you're a business owner with unfiled tax returns, tax season is not your friend. This is when the IRS turns up the heat. They match 1099s. They review payroll filings. They compare bank deposits. And when returns are missing, they don't send you a warning. They take action. Penalties stack up fast. Liens become public. Bank levies can drain your account. I see it every year. Good business owners who waited too long. Not because they're crooks, but because they were overwhelmed. Let me be clear. Hiding makes it worse. Action makes it fixable. I help business owners get compliant, file what's missing, and negotiate from a position of strength, not fear. Don't wait for the next certified letter. Don't wait for a levy. Go to fightbacknow.com and sign up for my daily email. I'll tell you exactly what to do next, step by step. Or call me right now at 312-664-6649. Act now before the IRS acts first.
Signature, a division of Esquire Bank, offers Chicago businesses relationship-first banking. Signature knows your name and your story because personalized banking still matters. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature is where I do my business banking.
Hi, I'm Phil Silverman, CFO of Chicago Atlantic and a client of Signature. We provide capital solutions in markets where risk is often fundamentally mispriced and traditional financing can be limited. At Chicago Atlantic, success depends on experience, responsiveness, attention to detail, and an entrepreneurial mindset. That's exactly what we found with Signature. Their team understands how we operate, supports our growth, and delivers the kind of personal service that's increasingly rare in banking today. And that's exactly why we bank with Signature.
Signature helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature, a division of Esquire Bank, at 773-467-5600 or visit signature.esquirebank.com. Esquire Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Are you retired or getting ready to retire and concerned about taxes eating away at the money you worked so hard to earn and save? What if you could keep more of your retirement income instead of sending more of it to Uncle Sam? David Dewar, president of Tax-Free Retirement Solutions, specializes in helping you identify opportunities to potentially reduce taxes, maximize retirement income, and protect your financial future. Schedule your free comprehensive financial analysis and financial survey by visiting taxfreeretirementsolutions.com. David provides solutions for pension alternatives, Social Security income optimization, guaranteed lifetime income with no stock market risk, life and health insurance savings, and tax-free retirement strategies. Remember, it's not how much you make, but how much you keep from Uncle Sam in taxes. Call David Dewar today at 708-369-1153 or visit taxfreeretirementsolutions.com to schedule your free comprehensive financial analysis and financial survey. And make sure to stop by Tax-Free Retirement Solutions table at this year's Shaun Fest.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Very, very, very interesting guy I've got coming on. It's like the Spotted Owl, former state rep, retired attorney, and a good guy who wants to cut spending and expose fraud by eliminating ghost jobs in government and financial fraud. What are the odds, Squirrel? It exists, but not in Illinois. Jonathan Deaver will join us to discuss his upcoming mission to eliminate the ghost payroll, 3-book series discussing the fraud in housing as he spent 2 decades in urban housing and development on the House Financial Institution Committee of Ohio, now a private digital bank he runs, exposing the money, the fraud, the abuse, and he's going to fight to stop it. Jonathan Deaver will join us after Foxweiser.
From Tennessee to eternity, I'm John Saucier, Fox News. As we remember a global music icon and humanitarian Dolly Parton, who has passed away at the age of 80, Fox's Alexis McAdams has more.
Tributes are pouring in for Dolly Parton as President Trump orders American flags nationwide to be lowered to half-staff for 1 week, honoring the country music legend whose legacy is far more than just her music.
Rest in peace, Aunt Dolly, Aunt Granny, Gigi. May God bless Dolly Parton, and may God bless you all. She will always love you.
Dolly Parton, the country music superstar who became an American icon, was 80 years old. Parton's nephew says she will never be forgotten.
Dolly called me and said she wants to rest in a beautiful bed of plush cotton because after a life wearing heavy rhinestones, she finally deserves to be comfortable and have some rest.
Dolly was one of 12 kids who grew up in a one-room cabin up in the Smoky Mountains.
Dolly had been struggling with health issues recently. It forced her to cancel her residency in Las Vegas earlier this year. At Dolly's request, a small private service will be held for immediate family. Reaction is coming in from the country music world tonight. Singer Lee Greenwood on the Fox News Channel says,
"The entertainment business will never have another Dolly Parton, and we miss her terribly. I'm heartbroken. I'm almost without words. And God, Dolly, we're sure going to miss you."
Singer-songwriter Don McLean remembering meeting Dolly Parton for the first time on Fox's The Story.
Nobody knew who she was, and I thought, wow, she's not only beautiful, but she's so talented. And, who knew that she'd develop into this gigantic star.
Singer Sheryl Crow posting this: "There's a hole in the universe, and there will never be anyone like Dolly Parton." Dolly Parton dead at the age of 80. America's listening to Fox News.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Southbound Route 53, that slows Palatine to Kirchhoff, and that slows down all due to an accident. Outbound Eden still clear. The Kennedy, though, 48 minutes downtown to the airport, while the Eisenhower is an hour and 5, post office to 390. Stevenson also an hour and 5, out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. 35 minutes outbound Ryan with delays in the Express, starting at 35th, ending at Marquette. 57 in the Skyway look good. Heavy on DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way, and the outbound Ford tight 115th to 159th with road work. All the tollways except the Jane Addams are showing tie-ups at this point. This report is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 65. On Wednesday, there will be a mix of clouds and sun with a chance of a thunderstorm developing late morning onwards. It will be humid with the possibility of gusty winds accompanying any downpour. The high will reach 84 degrees. Wednesday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-393-1881. That's 800-393-1881. 800-393-1881.
Judy loves the summer in Chicago, but she hates the paint, so she called Rhino Shield.
After having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
And Rhino Shield comes with a 25-year warranty and is formulated specifically for our unique climate here in Chicago.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color because I was very particular.
And just in time for summer Chicago, you can get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield, and I am just thrilled to recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
This offer is for a limited time, so call now, 847-850-1132, 847-850-1132, or ChicagoRhinoShield.com.
No pain, go Rhino Shield.
Labor Day celebrates fair wages, reasonable hours, and big savings on beauty rest at Hassellus Mattress. Through Labor Day, Hassellus will give you $200 off and a $100 rewards cash card, plus free next day delivery and removal of your old mattress, plus a free adjustable base with the purchase of any Beauty Rest world-class mattress. Save big on beauty rest now through Labor Day at Hassellus Mattress. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at hassellus.com.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the
this clip. The beauty of the schemes as it exists in what used to be cities, now fiefdoms, is you feel helpless because the scandal feels small and it feels like it's not a big problem. But what if it's a problem that exists in all governments across the country?
We cut another 250 ghost employees from the state budget. These were fake workers that they were just using to pad the budget. A lot of them were in Lara. There was a lot of waste in Lara that we got rid of. They had
Democrat-heavy Michigan area. We're used to it in Chicago. I mean, the dailies, they built a short-in-the-pants mafia on ghost jobs. New York, New Jersey, the old joke. New York invented political corruption. New Jersey perfected it. Chicago made it an art form. My next guest knows this all too well. He's a rare breed, a politician and an attorney of good character who wants the right thing for America. Former Ohio State Representative, retired attorney, banking and housing policy expert, working for decades in these arenas. Now, on his fourth Grift trilogy, examines power, money, institutions that shape American life and overtax the citizens. Jonathan Deaver, how are you?
I'm great. How are you tonight?
Very good. I love this topic because it is the most offensive topic of all. It's government-sponsored theft, paid for by everybody. So it feels compartmentalized, and you don't realize just how pervasive it is. But now, at $40 trillion nationally, and all these once great cities, ghost towns, because of ghost jobs. How do you see it?
Yeah, I can't disagree. I know in your intro there you had mentioned, the standard cities, the standard places where you would assume to see these, and I'm digging it in red states as well, Texas, North Carolina, even in my own home state. It's a rampant problem. The article that I just put out on Substack was dealing with the North Carolina situation, which, they've got $1 billion in these ghost jobs. And so for your audience, kind of what this is they'll have all these jobs out there. And in that case, it was 8,000 jobs that they had posted. Some of these, 190 of them, had been out there for a decade. And the General Assembly sends the money to the departments. The departments take the money. They never filled the job. And they just absorb the cash and spend it. And there's no accountability for the lack of job, the lack of position being filled, or where the money's going.
Jonathan, we have one hospital that is in the ghetto. It's called Ghetto Loretto. I added the ghetto first, but it's called Loretto Hospital. One hospital, $300 million. Three scumbags stole the money. And because the federal prosecutor was embroiled in an immigration issue, the Trump-appointed federal prosecutor, the judge threw out the pending trial and soon-to-be verdicts of guilt. Even a plea deal. Threw it out. So when you have this system where you have ghost jobs that are structured, and then you have people who have jobs they shouldn't have, but they're important jobs. They're judges. And they're not really about the law the way American law should be. They're about the political power behind the job. You've got a cancer that is in the culture. It's in the character. You've now cultivated people to envy those jobs. Because after all, Jonathan, here we are like two morons working, paying 50% of our salary. Wouldn't it be much easier if we were at the strip joint, we had three of these jobs coming in, and all we had to do was pretend it was a legitimate government? So is it the problem a character issue, or is the problem a government systemic issue, or is it both?
I personally think it's both. We have a culture today where, it's that microwavable McDonald's Happy Meal culture. Want it now, want it quick. It's junk food. It's high sugar, low calories. I mean, I guess we could get, Bobby Kennedy to put a little extra special sauce on that conversation. But the reality of it is that's true, right? We have a culture where the work ethic is different. We're not teaching our kids these values. But when it comes to the government, the biggest problem that I've seen from the inside is that there is a literal structural accountability gap. We're really good at pointing fingers. My dad always said, if you're pointing a finger at me, you got four pointed back at you, so watch out. So we're really, really good at saying, hey, look, there's this problem over here, but we never have an operational plan to fix it. And they don't execute on anything that they say they want to do. So what I found was they'll identify something, they'll study it, they'll think about it. That kicks the can down the road, and then no one ever deals with it. One of the things I'm mad about, I've got kids that are heading off to college now, and in our national debt, I mean, you said $40 trillion. We've got 3 to 4 trillion of that. That's just fraud, waste, and abuse that even the current administration has highlighted on their website, the fraud website. We're paying interest on that. And last week, the Secretary of the Treasury just refinanced that at a higher rate. So we're paying interest on top of fraud, and we're not getting anywhere with this. And these are things that we can identify. We know that there's mismanagement. We know that that there's a simple, easy fix for these things. With these jobs, it's easy. Either raise the pay to get someone qualified, because a lot of these jobs are not they're not paying enough to get people interested in them. Get rid of the job if you're not filling it. Clearly, you don't need it, especially if they've been out there on an RFP for 10 years. Or just put the money in an account that's getting the 4 or 5% at the Treasury, like banks do. At least get us an ROI for the money while you're trying to find a job applicant. I mean, there's a simple, easy way to fix that part specifically, but no one's doing anything.
Well, what's interesting is your own history, right? Your own resume. You specialize in banking, you specialize in finance, you specialize in the issues with housing. One of the most amazing issues that people do not realize is what happens during the property taxation system of fraud, how it is detached and has been legally detached since Barack Obama uncoupled the ad valorem system that was the covenant between my government and me. You could only tax me on the value of the asset, was how it used to be. But quietly, when Barack Obama goes to Washington, D.C., they uncouple that. And now you're not paying taxes on real estate on the value of your property. You're paying on the liability of the government's costs and losses and abuses. So in a way, the system is set up to be compartmentalized, right? A city block in Chicago, where you got 180 homes on a city block. Each one of those houses, we're just going to increase you 6%. We just had a 6% increase. Well, that's going to be on top of a 3%. Then we're going to do on top of a 2%. And the kids in Chicago public school, and 90% of the people who still vote Democrat in Chicago, they have no idea what comp a regular worker. So how do you combat that system when you have these governments that have actually passed a law, regardless of any pension funding, regardless of any return on investment? It doesn't exist, Jonathan. There's no such thing as ROI. The people who are not in on the system can be taxed to oblivion to just add up to obligations they didn't cut in phony things called pensions that are just employment agreements. So there has to be a lone ranger that comes in from the federal government and says, what you're doing is unconstitutional. You cannot, through government employment, through government obligation, enslave the people who, by happenstance, are your citizens who are not in on it.
That I think best explains it, because I think a lot of people don't understand the compounding and the exponential. People hear about it. The last time they heard about it was maybe 8th grade math, right? So people don't remember what an exponential is. They have no idea. But the simplest way of describing it is, if you tear a sheet of paper out of your Bible and you fold it over on top of itself, assuming you could do it, because you technically can only do it 7 times, but you do it 10 times, you get about a centimeter, right? You fold it 33 times, it's the height of the Empire State Building, right? You fold it 44 times, it touches the moon from the surface of the earth. And when you get to the 50th fold, it touches the surface of the sun, and it catches fire and it burns all the way down, right? So the question I always ask myself when it comes to money or these types of things is, what fold are we on? Because if we're on the 49th fold, we're in deep trouble. If we're on the 44th fold, we've got a lot of work to do. But the faster it grows and the bigger it gets, the more impractical and impossible it is to deal with it. And there are a lot of good people out there that are pointing fingers at issues, but quite frankly, we don't have a lot of solutions. And when we do find a solution, it's really, really hard to find the inertia or the ability to drive it and get it done. I mean, a prime example is watching Washington, D.C., the president puts out the $229 billion in fraud, and then you watch the other side say, oh, no, it's only $189 billion and the rest is mismanagement. And that's what the fight. And that's to keep everybody distracted from the fact that there's, all this fraud going on. Elon Musk found a whole bunch of it, and we still don't see any results for it. So that's part of the biggest problem, is that we're really good at identifying it, but we really don't do anything about it.
Well, see, that's the other issue, right? Because there is only but one answer. And the but one answer is stop it. It has to stop. It has to stop. And this idea that you don't have to be firm, you don't have to be absolute, well, that unmoors us from the reality of where we are. You have two worlds. If you ran your business, because you have a business, you have a banking business, am I correct?
Yes, well, I don't run it anymore, but yes, I was the CEO of a banking business. Yes, we started one from scratch, and you've got to run it right. You've got to, your employees need to be compensated fairly and well, but you also have to provide a good value and a good product, and you can't run it into the ground, otherwise you're not safe and sound.
And Ken, and now you're a lawyer, so I've got the best of everything that I'm talking to, because a lawyer, ultimately, law in America is the shield of the citizen, not the spear of the government. Yet,
that's correct.
I do not hear advocates for the shield, because ultimately what this means is that it could start really simple in these corrupt fiefdoms like my own hometown, which I don't live there anymore, but I still have family and friends and listeners and people I love there. But the reality is pickpockets do not cut their own hands off. And the notion that a government steeped in corruption, Illinois has the highest amount of politicians that have been convicted and indicted. It's in the thousands. I don't know if you know this. From the 70s, it's in the thousands. So now these very crooks somehow tried to legitimize the taxing of the non-government worker in the name of the government worker. Well, ding, 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 ding. Didn't we stab a bunch of Englishmen for this? So doesn't the government, the federal government, have to come in and seriously say this is not a law? This cannot be a law. And forgive me, but I'm not a lawyer. But my understanding of what this law is there cannot be an illegitimate law that ultimately goes in conflict with the shield of the citizen. Can there?
Well, that's the problem. How do you help a system that's broken at the state or local level when the federal government can't even do its job?
So
that's the biggest problem we have right now. You've got a federal government that can't fix basics. Another thing that's coming up, and it's going to be a big problem that I'm sure you're going to spend a lot of calories on in the next couple of years, is the fact that we've had a warning since the early 2000s. I remember this when I was coming out of law school around 2002 about Social Security, and that in 2032 this thing is going to be actuarially bankrupt. And it is coming true, and they haven't done anything about it. When they open up the lockbox, as Al Gore used to call, there's nothing in it but an IOU from Congress to the John and Q retiree out there. There's no money. So even at a modest rate of return in the stock market, if you took your Social Security and put it into just a Roth IRA, every American would be retiring with 3 to 4 times the amount that they give you currently. But
and it would be yours.
And they're talking about raising taxes again. They're not talking about fixing the problem.
So this is the fault of the American who wants to believe the lie, because the other dirty little secret, when Al Gore, that fraud, when he said that, it was a lie. There was never a lockbox. It doesn't exist. There's not a fund. It's a general fund slush Ponzi scheme is what it is. And it doesn't exist. And yet, I'm down in Florida now. And you used to talk to old people and they'll say, no, I paid it. But ultimately, it takes a handsome son of a gun such as myself with a smart lawyer such as yourself to sue the government. And I think this needs to happen because I don't want it. How can you force me into it? How can you do this? How can you force people? I never wanted it. You don't owe me anything. Just give me my money back. I don't want your schemes. Isn't it the simplest way to break the bricks of tyranny that turn out to be your very prison? Isn't it that we properly have to challenge these abuses and these bald-faced lies? Social Security, to me, is my favorite one because it is an absolute and total lie built on nothing but a lie. So can't we take it on, Jonathan? Me and you. Come on.
Hey, look, I'm a retired attorney, but, hey, maybe I'll come down to Florida and join you in the endeavor. But I'll tell you, that's why I wrote this book, too, because what I've realized is that there's a pattern in all of it. And once you understand the pattern, your average person, then their eyes open. And I think the biggest problem that we have, as an elected official, I always tried to do my best to be honest and transparent and solve problems. And, we did banking reform in Ohio, and I put myself out of business as a lawyer in an entire area of law because it was wrong that I was able to manipulate that part of the law, and it cost the consumers and the banks a bunch of money, and the banks themselves were not policing themselves. So we all got together and fixed it, but that's what it's going to take. It's going to take people who can understand how the system is abused. They need to understand how they can be involved and how do they make those changes. The problem we have today is there's very, very few people that are interested in doing that Most of the folks are interested in, TikTok time or airtime to talk about issues that are not really bread and butter things that people care about. I mean, people care about their gas, their Gerber, and their groceries. I gotta put gas in my car. I gotta feed my kids, and I need to buy groceries and maintain my household. And meanwhile, the middle class is asked to pay a huge bill for both ends of the spectrum, and it's not going to be sustainable for much longer.
Now, obviously, you pick these endeavors, right? And you have to deal with a certain amount of people, and you put up the fight. You went into this, you were a lawyer, and then you go into politics. What was your experience like when you enter this arena? And Ohio's an interesting area, right? It's not nearly as corrupt as Illinois, but it's got its problems. Every area does. And when you see these politicians now that waffle on fact and reality, and sometimes they'll take the easy pathway to sell the lie, what is it like when you deal with the general party people, when you were said, I've had enough, I'm getting involved, and you set up that meeting and you go talk to somebody? Is it what I've run into when I meet people that were involved in Illinois politics, the absolute scoundrels and frauds from soup to nuts? And they do this thing, Jonathan, that drives me nuts. They are actually making fun of the people who they need to support them. Did you notice this, or is it different in Ohio?
So it's a little bit different here, but there is some truth in that. What I found mainly is that there's this they operate out of what I call a fear mode, right? So they're around to trying to solve their problem. Can't we solve something? Can't we do something innovative? Can't we try something? You're down in Florida, and your governor, that's his approach. He's like, we're going to do something. We're going to apply something. He figures out a problem. He comes up with a solution, and he goes after it. And then he makes adjustments along the way. Not everything's perfect as you're trying to fix it, but politicians are generally scared. Everybody gets elected and then they think they're going to be president. So then they're afraid to do anything. And they forgot the very reason that motivated them to run for office, which normally is an issue or two. So I always encourage my elected officials and members that were in my caucus, or, the governor, or the senators, or my congressmen, you got elected for a reason. Pick that lane, fix it. Because we're only stewards of these positions. They don't belong to us. They belong to the people, and they have the right, and they should fire us if we don't do our job.
And the other issue that I always used to laugh at, right? You fall in love with what the country is. When you learn what the country is, when you learn the struggles, and when you learn the principle, you fall in love with it, right?
Absolutely.
And the idea, and all the examples. In the last 10 years, we have more people of meager means become millionaires than we did in the last century and a half, just the last 10 years. So we have this incredible system that gets completely corrupted and bastardized by the people who do not partake in it, the people who live off of it and suck off of it, the taxers who constantly are bashing the system. But we have this incredible system. But the flaw in it is that my understanding of what I fell in love with, there are no restraints on Americans, on American ingenuity, on American business. The only restraint is on government. Yet, I look at all the stories. I have to. It's my job. I mean, I don't sleep much, brother. You got to see it. It's great because I'm addicted to it. And I don't care if you're talking your municipality, your county, your state, whatever you hear a politician. Where are the restraints on them? Where have they ever been told no? No, you can't. You can't do it, you stupid lying bastard. Where does that... Why are people afraid to do that, other than during my 3-hour show here?
Well, that's all part of that problem too. It's that I want to be here, I want to get reelected problem. When I got there, see, I was lucky. I came out of a district that was 5 points the other direction. So when I got elected, I won on a mandate with 15 points above, 15 points plus. So it's 20 points above what I should have, not once but twice, and that gave me the ability to work with all kinds of people. I really don't care. If you've got an issue, I'm going to do it the small c conservative way. That's generally how I do things. But I'm going to expose it, and I'm going to fix it. And that's that was my approach, because that's what I did as a lawyer, and that's what I did in business. We're trying to fix things in business. When you run operations and you run an enterprise, you have to run lean, nimble, and you have to be responsive to the marketplace. In my view, elected officials should be doing the same thing. And you're absolutely right. The government works for us, not the other way around, and I think the American people forget that. At the local level, that government serves you. You don't serve, you're not there to serve those folks. They get elected to take care of a local need, and we all need to be holding them accountable, local government, state government, and federal. It's our responsibility to do that. And when we're asleep at the wheel, what do you expect? The car's going to crash.
And I love the fact that you take on this ghost payroll, because the average decent guy, the way we grew up, our parents, if you're old enough to remember, they lived on a paycheck. And when you realize how they fraud us, and this is done by one of my favorite people in economics, Milton Friedman. He came up with, love it. The title of the book is The Ghost Payroll. Big government spends billions of dollars to pay somebody for a job that nobody's doing. Oh, you're going to love. Just look up Rivera. His name is Arnie Rivera, Chicago Mafia Democrat, short in the pants, the very unusual bald Mexican. They normally have hair like a movie star. However, bald. Ghost job at Navy Pier, which is a place that nobody goes to 8 months out of the year. He's the chief DEI asshat, $319,000 a year. He doesn't even know where his office is. So you would have a great time if you ever want to take on Chicago, but you're going to need somebody to look after you. So you let me know, and we'll walk you through all the vestibules of thievery here, okay?
Will do. That'd be a blast.
I really appreciate it. Now, I know your Substack is deaverjonathan.substack. Where's the best place to go get the book?
Deeperdialogue.com, and that'll take you to the Substack. Just the folks go in there and subscribe. We're going to put some more information about the book on a page there very shortly, so people can sign up for it. And I'm going to continue to write about these things. The pieces that don't make the book are going into the Substack. So as you can imagine, I have a lot of material.
Yeah, you're going to sleep less than me. Thanks for making time. I know how busy you are. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you carrying more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Do you feel like you're running on a financial treadmill, making payment after payment, month after month, yet never getting ahead? If you're tired of watching your hard-earned money disappear into interest charges, there may be options available to help you take back control of your finances. At Total Financial Freedom, they'll show you what qualified consumers may be able to save through programs designed to help them resolve debt faster than making minimum payments alone. The consultation is free, confidential, and comes with absolutely no obligation. Why spend years, sometimes decades, paying thousands in interest when there may be a better path forward? Total Financial Freedom is a Christian-owned company that has helped thousands of Americans pursue financial freedom for nearly 20 years and is proudly A+ rated and accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now and ask how you can receive a complimentary copy of The Debt Dietitian. Stop running in place. Start moving toward financial freedom at 866-844-7344. 866-844-7344.
Hey Chicagoland, Jeff from Jeff Buys Your House. When people call us, they're often dealing with something overwhelming. An inherited home full of belongings, parent needing senior living, managing an estate while juggling everything else in life. Here's what our sellers have to say after working with us. The very thought of hiring an agent, a cleanup crew, and dealing with months of uncertainty was overwhelming. But Jeff's team gave me permission to just leave it all. I took what mattered and they handled everything else. Another seller wrote, even my Medicaid specialist said Jeff Buys Your House is the name to trust. They gave me a fair price without the traditional real estate headache. And this one, they handled every hiccup. Title issues, paperwork, estate complications. I finally felt relieved. For nearly 20 years, our veteran-led team has earned hundreds of 5-star reviews for its professionalism, compassion, and seamless service. No repairs and no cleanout. Take your memories with you and we'll take care of the rest. If you're ready for a no-obligation conversation, call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Did you know, Squirrel, that crook from Alaska who pretends to be a Republican, Murkowski, she wants to prosecute James O'Keefe. But it won't stop him from being at Freedom Summit. Don't let it stop you. In fact, James O'Keefe is going to be there. Scott Walker, cheesehead mafia don from Wisconsin, is going to be there. Boy, he had that government running on all 8 cylinders in Wisconsin before that Orville Redenbacher on meth took over. Now they're fighting off communists. So Scott will tell us how to possibly help and turn around areas where you didn't think you could get a respite like he provided in Wisconsin. It's going to be a great time. Freedom Summit in Chicago returns. It's going to be the same place where we're having Shaun Fest, except we're in the back for Shaun Fest, outdoors at the Lakeside Pavilion. But the Freedom Summit is going to be right there in Itasca at the West End. And all you have to do is go to 560theanswer.com/Freedom Summit. That's 560theanswer.com/Freedom Summit to join myself, James O'Keefe, Dan Proft, Scott Walker, Jeannie Ives, Amy Jacobson, John Anthony, and so many more. You're going to see all the people that make the station operate. There'll be advertisers there, and you can be there. Tickets are in all prices. You don't have to be the VIP, but if you want to be, it's available. Simply go to 560theanswer.com/Freedom Summit. When we get back, 312-642-5600. Gary, you got to be kidding me. You see the story Gary wants to tell us? We're going to take Gary, poor guy in North Lake, and then we'll do everybody else. 312-642-5600 after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In our QC Kinetics newsroom tonight, we see partly cloudy skies in the forecast. There could soon be a new train taking travelers to Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. This morning, a group of Chicago business and civic leaders announcing plans for what they are calling the O'Hare Flyer, an electric express train providing 15-minute rides from downtown to Terminal 2. A man killed in an armed robbery in the Brighton Park neighborhood this morning. It happened around 3 a.m. in the 3400 block of South California. Homeowners in Cook County will bear the brunt of a $770 million tax levy increase. Many in the north suburbs seeing a tax rate increase more than triple the rate of inflation. 3 states are holding primary elections today: Georgia, Oklahoma, and South Carolina. Cubs and Diamondbacks tonight, White Sox and Rangers. The news a service of Staples. It's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents. 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers. Check out all the deals. Staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy. Your next news update is at 7. Continuous news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of your evening commute. In the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchek.
The Kennedy going out 35 downtown to the airport, heavy in those express lanes. Eisenhower 1 hour, post office to 390. Stevenson 50 out to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Half hour outbound Ryan, delays in the express still 35th out to Marquette. Heavy outbound Bishop Ford 115th to 159th. You can blame construction on that. Also, delays continue along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. Tri-State remains heavy going south. Eastbound Reagan slowing down into the Tri-State. Tied up on 355 in both directions, and 80 westbound. That slows Gauger to Richards. Traffic is a service of Steiner Homes. Building homes is more than a business, it's a calling. Family owned and dedicated to building custom homes with care, integrity, and craftsmanship you can trust. Visit SteinerHomesLTD.com. Northwest Indiana's leading home builder.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low temperature of 65. On Wednesday, there will be a mix of clouds and sun with a chance of a thunderstorm developing in some areas by late morning. It'll be humid with the possibility of gusty winds accompanying any downpours. The high temperature will reach 84 degrees. Wednesday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 64. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
The new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power. Exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power comparison between AP300PC and AP300S.
Since 2007, Folds of Honor has awarded nearly 73,000 educational scholarships. Over $340 million to the children and spouses of America's fallen and disabled military heroes and first responders. This year alone, 7,700 qualified applicants didn't receive funding. Not because they didn't deserve it, because resources ran out. You can change that. On Saturday, September 12th, you're invited to an exclusive VIP concert experience at a private estate in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, featuring Gary LaVox of Rascal Flatts and the Swan Brothers, benefiting Folds of Honor. This is an intimate evening with incredible live music and an even more incredible cause. Tickets are limited, and if you own a business, this is your chance to put your brand behind something that truly matters. Honor their sacrifice, educate their legacy, make lifetime memories. For tickets or business sponsorship opportunities, visit foldsconcert.com. That's foldsconcert.com. Saturday, September 12th. Don't miss it. foldsconcert.com.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owed the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Honey, I can't deal with this kitchen anymore. It's cramped and everything is outdated.
I know, but it makes no sense to move. I could call my contractor buddy Chad.
Babe, you've seen Chad's house, right?
Yeah, good point.
Plus, he showed up late for his own wedding. Let's get someone who's reliable.
How about Forever Remodeling? They have a team of interior designers, master installers, and project managers all under one roof.
Their reviews on Google look amazing, and homeowners post a ton of pictures of their work.
It looks like they even offer 3D rendering of their projects.
Just like my TV design shows.
Exactly.
Plus, AM 560 listeners get a free in-home design consultation.
From kitchens to bathrooms, basements to whole homes, the design build team at Forever Remodeling takes the stress out of remodeling. They're done on time and guaranteed to match your vision. Visit them online at foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com. Forever Remodeling, stress-free and high-quality remodeling.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Old porcelain signs, gas and oil collectibles, collectors are waiting. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Violence! What is it, Squirrel? When a couple of purple-haired transvestites calling themselves Democrat socialists promise violence, I chuckle.
We have seen that the Democratic Party establishment that we have has to be ripped out. We can actually start to grab hold of the ship of state and steer it in our direction, but it's going to be a, violent process.
Say when, sissy. See, the violence that governments perpetrate are not up front like that. They don't give you a chance to rip their face off. They do it in other ways. They do it the way I'm going to talk to Gary in Northlake. This, to me, is violence. Gary, Northlake.
Yeah, Shaun, I should have known this was coming. I live in Cook County. West May, I purchased a used vehicle in DuPage County. Registered it, paid all the high fees, et cetera, sales tax. I just billed from the Cook County Department of Revenue for 1% of that vehicle purchase. And I am sure if I do not pay it, I won't be able to register it. They'll boot me. They'll come after me. This is just sheer extortion.
So
I should have known it was coming.
That's violence. And I'm dead serious about it.
Yeah, I agree.
So you pay, let's just make it simple. So let's say $10,000. You pay $10,000 for a car.
You hit the nail on the head right there.
In DuPage. And when you paid, did you buy it from a person or did you buy it from a dealer?
Used car dealer, and paid the appropriate sales tax. I think it was 8.25, something like that.
Yeah,
everything was on the up and up. Reputable dealership and everything.
How much later did you get the bill for $100?
Okay, I purchased the vehicle May 7th. I just got the bill in the mail today, and it's due on the 15th of September.
Why don't you write on the back you got carjacked? You were stupid enough to go to Chicago, and some gangster disciple stole the car. Collect it from them! These morons. That irritates the dung out of me here. Irritates the dung out of me.
It's low. It's low. It's another example of your low living. I finally understand it.
That is low living, kid.
Hey,
and you know what?
I'll see you Friday, sir.
Oh, I can't wait. Thank you very much, Gary. And you want to know the worst part about it, Squirrel? Since he bought the car to now, what's it worth now? Now you get the bill? You rat bastard. What did you do? Hey, Crook County. Hey, ass-face Preckwinkle. You fracking dog. What did you do to charge my guy $100, you filthy animal? And that is government violence, Squirrel. So let's make you feel a little better, right? Maybe we slap and then we tickle a little bit. That's all. It's the slap and tickle. And what I mean by that, Squirrel, is that it's not like this everywhere.
And so today, I'm proud to announce that Florida will be the first state in the nation to restrict temporary cash assistance benefits from being used for inappropriate and non-essential purchases. For example, no tobacco and vaping products with EBT cards and TANF grants.
So just to keep in mind, in Shirakistan, in Crooked County, run by that sphincter face, Tony Preckwinkle. In Illinoisistan, run by that butter-handed trust fund pansy who had to have slaves put his shoes on because he couldn't bend his fat ass over. You pay. That's right. Illegal aliens that get it, criminals that get it, you're buying their vape and their tobacco. Don't worry, it's not cigars. Their palate isn't educated enough.
No drugs or intoxicants with EBT cards and TANF grants. No adult material. You can get adult material on the gas station. No video games, entertainment tickets, theme park subscriptions. No tattoos. No tanning beds. Other, more luxury services. No fortune-telling services.
See, in all the Democrat states, you pay the degenerate scum to live low, like degenerate scum they are. And that's how you know they're all Democrats. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-555-2085, 800-555-2085, or biglou.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, did you ever track down that missing warehouse key?
I forgot all about it.
You forgot? You said that guy was furious when you had to let him go.
That doesn't matter anymore. Goldilocks set us up with new managed access control. We're keyless now. Everyone has a card or fob. Even their phone works.
Huh. You don't have to worry about people copying keys either.
Yeah, never again. Goldilocks allows me to handle everything from my phone or laptop. I can see who came into the building, when they left, restrict their access at night. I can grant temporary access to visitors, too. It takes 30 seconds to add or remove someone.
That sounds a lot safer and simpler.
Stop guessing who has access to your building. Set up access controls today by calling Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. Again, that's 708-889-5600 or visit GoldilocksInc.com. Goldilocks. Security under your control.
AM 560. The Answer.
That's a woman, baby. I was lucky enough to catch her in the 70s, Squirrel, when she really... I'll tell you what. Terry, Shirakistan.
Hey, Shaun, a couple things, but when that guy was talking about violence, how many of those people were ever in a street fighter, or they used to call them humbugs, you know?
Well, they got in a fight with their sister, and they won, so they thought they were tough.
CTA's talking about this electric train, privatized.
Yeah.
But the CTA was privatized until old man Daley in the 50s got it condemned, and it was purchased. And the other thing is, you remember Eugene Sawyer, the mayor?
Sure.
His brother had a department at the Merchandise Mart with 50 employees, all cousins, girlfriends, this and that. The doors were always locked. The doors were always tinted. Nobody went in. Nobody went out. And there was 50 people, so if you want to talk about ghost payrolling, that was right there.
Yeah, but Eugene Sawyer, and to his credit, he did not have lingerie on the way Harold Washington did. And you know what's funny? I moved, so I'm grabbing old books that I had, right? And I the Mike Royko book, Boss. It's still fantastic. I cracked it open again. I haven't read it in years. Still fantastic how they built that organized syndicate there. It really is something to see. Thank you very much, Terry, for... Oh, I didn't mean to hang up on you. You know what's funny, too, Squirrel? I was... The Dolly Parton thing. Do you ever hear that song, Jolene? Oh, I love that. And I actually, it's a very interesting song. And you look at Dolly Parton's life. Did you know that her grandfather was a preacher? Pentecostal? Did you know that? And she often sang about Jesus and God. And I want to end the show today with her singing the anthem. All right, you make that happen there, kid. So how much time do I got before we have to cut? Because I want her to finish. How much time I got, babe? All right, two, I want you to hear a great story about religion in the South that has no color attached to it, but it's a beautiful form the way I see it, especially growing up Catholic. I really like this.
I was invited to a wonderful all-black church. I'm sitting there, and a lady comes in. She sits down from me, and she says hello, and I said hello. And I didn't understand, this lady's going to change my life forever. I will leave that service wanting to be like her. She turned to me, and she said, "What are you doing here, white boy?" Now, in my whole life, no one had ever called me white boy. I said, well, white boy's going to preach this morning. She looked at me and she said, "You got the stuff, white boy?" I said, "I beg your pardon?" She said, "Don't play stupid, white boy." She said, "If the preacher ain't got the stuff, we don't have church. If you don't got it, you sit right down here and let somebody stand up there that's got the stuff." She said, "Now, you got it or not?" I said, "White boy's got the stuff." I didn't know what to say. She said, "They tell you how we do stuff here?" I said, "No." Oh, she said, "Well, let me tell you. Service going to start right on time." She said, "And we're going to sing for at least an hour." She said, "Sometimes we sing more than an hour." She said, "You love to sing, white boy?" I said, "Oh, yeah, I never get enough of it." Right. I mean, she says, "After we're done singing, we have testimonies." She said, "People talk about stuff they've been delivered from." She said, "Man, sometimes they stand up and, man, they confess crimes they've done. It's good." And she said, "Man, when they confess a crime, we take them right down to the jail and turn them in." She said, "You not done any crimes, have you, white boy?" And I thought, none that I'm talking about this morning, no. She said, "After that, we take the offering." She said, "You love to give, don't you?" And I'm thinking, I don't know what's in my pocket, but it's all going in this morning, man. She said, "Then comes the preaching." She said, "You hear me, white boy? We didn't come to get out. We come to go to church." She said, "If you come to get out, just best you not come." What an insult to God. She said, "Whatever stuff you got, make sure we get it, and don't cut it short." She said, "Now, could you do me a favor, white boy?" I said, "Sure." She said, "Could you move over?" I said, "Okay, somebody else coming?" She said, "No." She said, "Because when I get singing, I needs my room." She said, "You see, I'm addicted to praising him." She said, "I don't like it. I adore it." She said, "It's the passion of my life, praising him." I moved over. That dear sister, man, she got singing. And you know what? She's singing and crying, and pretty soon I'm crying. And I don't know why we're crying. Her passion pulled me in. Man, we're singing, and I'm like, boy, I want to praise the Lord like she does. I'm up by the preacher, and I said, "You know that lady down there?" He said, "Yeah, you're sitting down there by Abby, Sister Abby." I said, "Preacher, she's amazing." He said, "Well, did she share her testimony with you?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, David, let me tell you." He said, "Just a couple of years ago, her husband and 2 junior high boys walked down to the bus stop. Early in the morning, some shotguns came out and killed her 2 boys and her husband. I met her at the hospital, and I said, 'Abby, what do you want to do?' She said, 'Let's have church. I need to get back to my passion.'" He said, "Did she tell you she has stage 4 cancer and no money for medicine?" I said, "No, she didn't tell me that. All she did was tell me about her Jesus. And all I know is I want to be like her."
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
MyPillow is celebrating our country's 250th anniversary with savings up to 50% off their made in the USA products. For example, get the queen size premium MyPillow